All right, let's see what's on.
But that's not all. The Switch 2 attaches controllers with electromagnetic technology.
Cool.
4K raw power.
Do you struggle with unexpected movements? Shut up! You may be.
It's been a long time. Game Bird Classic.
Papa?
Sure. What is bothering you, my child?
It's just, tonight's the Nintenbyte Podcast, and I have nothing to wear, and I'm scared.
But child, the Nintenbyte Podcast unleashed a new line of merch, including sick t-shirts.
Really?
Here, I'll show you. Gaze into the power! The future is now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're unleashing the brand new Nintenbyte Podcast merch.
So rad. Nintenbyte rules.
Introducing the Nintenbyte Podcast shirt. Each shirt is made with 100% farm-fresh carrot fibers.
Carrot.
We turned a carrot into a shirt. But that's not all. Presenting the Nintenbyte piped glass for all you milk lovers. Nintenbyte offers a variety of merch. And never miss the mark.
I'm Nintendo Prime. I'm Thunderstash.
I'm Game Bird Classic. So order now while your body is ready.
Dude, every time I'm laughing. I love that intro. So great. All right, guys. How you doing? Welcome to a bonus episode of the Nintenbyte Podcast this week. Back-to-back nights. You guys know how it would do when there's a direct. We are here. That's just what happens. And especially when they give us a long warning for the direct. We've known for like 2 weeks. That being said, guys, how you doing? We're here to talk the Mario Kart stuff. This is a dedicated Mario Kart World episode. It's all we're talking about today. We kind of hope maybe some pre-order news would come out and that could be like a bonus topic. But now we're just talking all about Mario Kart. So of course we had to have Mr. Mario Kart N64 Josh on. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? Quick, funny story. In your little intro there, it says, milk. Well, as a kid who grew up on a dairy farm, my first car that I had to drive as a teenager was a Chevy Astrovan, and the license plate said, milk. Thanks, Dad.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I gotta add. I just gotta give a shout out to the voice actor for Milk. It was my grandmother. I asked her to record that line for me. So
No way.
thanks, Grandma. Love you.
Shout out Game Bird Classics Grandma. Yeah. Speaking of Mr. Game Bird, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back to the show.
Welcome to you all as well. I'm doing well. It's Mario Kart Day. Exciting stuff.
Yes.
Everyone's excited about this, right? Everyone loved the Mario Kart Direct, right?
I did.
We'll discuss it.
We might have been the only positive reaction show on all of YouTube. So, what a price! No. Sorry.
Well, to be fair, you guys are paid by Nintendo, which I just found out today, and I want chat to know I haven't seen a damn penny. So
You're right.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
is
we are
going
on their
on.
payroll. They
Yeah.
send me all the early review codes. I don't have to buy any games.
It wasn't about anything. You know what? They even send it physically
Right.
a month early.
Yeah.
That's how
Must
much.
be
That's how
nice.
much they love us.
Yeah,
I hate paid
we
Monopoly.
just sign NDAs and don't talk about it.
Right.
Yes,
until
yeah.
now.
Like the Nintenbyte podcast, you haven't seen a check yet because, unfortunately, they only like channels that are around 100K. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Nintendo's got standards.
All right, that sounded.
Their standards is somebody who chugs a beer and burps
Yeah,
in a
right.
microphone every podcast.
Feel like you're punching down right now, but just me.
Yeah, it could have been talking about Eric.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Or me.
Fair enough.
No, it's wild out there. I'll wait to talk about that until it's my
Yeah.
turn. Eric, how we doing, buddy?
Good.
Glad to have you here, man.
Yeah.
As always. Thunderstash Gaming.
Hey, yeah, just got after it all day. Kind of worked all day. Took in a little bit, consumed a little bit of what the internet had to say, but not much. I saw your tweet, Nate, about your YouTube feed, and I saw the same thing actually. It was like everybody's just like everyone. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna get to work.
Yeah. I'm in Tenor Prime. You know what's up. It's been a wild day. So look, if you're coming here to expect us to start bashing on pricing and all that, we're here to have a good time and actually talk about Mario Kart, because no one's actually talking about Mario Kart. Everyone is just talking about the price and saying it's not worth it. And you know what? I don't care. I'm buying the fucking thing anyways. So, but I think everyone on this show is getting Mario Kart. So since we're buying it anyways, fuck it. Let's actually talk about the game. I know it's taboo. It's taboo to actually talk about the game.
Wait, we talk games on a gaming podcast?
What? Never. So first off, just I want to get general thoughts from the people that weren't with me this morning. That's obviously you three. Me and Stash obviously were there and gave some thoughts live. Eric,
Mhm.
what are you thinking now that we kind of get a fuller picture of what this game is? How are we feeling?
That there's a lot there. Holy balls. I mean, open world is open world. It's crazy. The fact that you can all of a sudden, have a friend jump in with you and you can just drive around the world is insane. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll save some of my other stuff for later, but yeah, that's it. I was like, this for somebody who hasn't bought Mario Kart in a while, this one's, I'm there.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. See, I remember he's the casual. He doesn't even buy all the Mario Karts. He's already there.
Yeah.
He sold his ass. Granted, I'm sure he's trying to get the bundle too over there.
Oh, yeah.
Gamebird, how you feeling overall about Mario Kart right now?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I know we're going to be diving, head on into it and going over all the different aspects. But I'll say this: I am 100% sold on Mario Kart World. I think this looks like the best Mario Kart to date, personally. I think the direct today was good. I don't think it was like a mind blower for me personally, but I think it looked really good. And I think there's a lot to be excited about here, and I can't wait to get this game into my hands.
All right. N64, Josh?
Bro, I mean, the reasons I'm like disappointed don't have a whole lot to do with the game itself, right?
Yeah.
There are certain things that I have been doing in Mario Kart since the first day. Time trials, huge deal for me. The fact that there's a very real possibility that there could be a large skill gap in this game. It worries me and also excites me because there is one clip in that direct today where Birdo, now they had to use a feather, so it may not be possible in time trials. I understand this, but like the bouncing from the grinding to the wall, back to the rail, back to the wall again, and then taking different cuts, like I cannot wait to see what the time trial community does with this game. Like that alone gets me just super, super pumped. Learning how we unlock the characters now that you eat the burger and you have it. Like I kind of figured that was the way it was anyway, but like And I have some crazy theories about what I think we're going to see from this game. And I don't think the messaging has been great on Nintendo's part. And I really had hoped today that there was going to be a bit of a roadmap, maybe some community events like in Splatoon, maybe how they're going to drip feed content, something along those lines. But overall, I am just focusing on the good as much as I can, and I'm super stoked for Mario Kart World. And I will say this about the price. I did a little bit of math based on the hours I've played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Let me just see here real quick. I bet it shows up. 1,530 hours on my Switch for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Amateur.
You're looking at about 3.5 cents an hour based on the $60 price tag. So if you can find entertainment cheaper than that, I'm here for it. Granted, I'm not the norm. I realize that I'm a little more hardcore in Mario Kart than most, but I'm gonna be playing this game for the next 8 years, 10 years probably. So I'm stoked.
All right. Thunderstash, how we feeling overall about the game right now?
Well, I mean, again, I played the game. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to spend all day with it. Given the opportunity, I would have stayed the night in that building. I would have hid somewhere.
He
We're
tried.
going to turn all the lights off.
He tried.
God,
Yeah,
now that I'm saying
hours,
this, we
man.
should have done that.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
We all that.
Whoops.
We all saw that staffer staring you down like, dude, this guy's
Right.
Go.
Oh yeah, dude. She had a laser sight on me for
I
sure.
know.
But again, I played it. I've been playing Mario Kart since the beginning with the SNES. We grew up on it. I've been there for all the launch days, haven't missed it. This Mario Kart feels like the best Mario Kart. And again, no one's played it. Like when I say no one, what I mean is very, very few people played this game. So I can vouch for it. I review games. This is what I do. I'm not here to, glaze Nintendo or try and say a game's good or better than it actually is. And again, I have a very old school logical approach to finances and to entertainment and to factoring that in. We grew up in a time where that sort of thing was very limited. I remember one year for my birthday, I got a subscription to the Disney Channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was hyped. That's how it works, though, because it's like, hey, we don't have unlimited funds for entertainment. Learn that at a young age, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a job as soon as I can so I can buy video games, and I did. And then everything works out, and you can go buy video games. Sometimes you get 2 jobs. So I understand people are upset that it's $80 and that there was like a $20 price hike. I do. I think we're expecting 70. So it was $10 more than we expected. But I gotta say, like, just thinking about it, say you buy 5 games a year, and the 5 you buy happen to all be 80, which the odds of that, they're not very high, given what we know. But even if they were, that's $50 more a year. How much has your streaming services went up? They've went up a lot. Disney keeps hiking it. Netflix keeps increasing it. Everybody keeps doing it. They're cracking down on passwords. There's always something. Everything's went up. Car insurance, health insurance, my homeowner's insurance. Now I need, fire insurance because everyone's lighting shit on fire.
PlayStation Network in Canada.
Yeah, that just went up dramatically. And you know what? It was already high to begin with. So, yeah, there's all these things, right? But I say don't let it rob you of your enjoyment, right? And if you If you find that it's just too tough, too big of a pill to swallow, I understand. I do. And Nate, you put out a great video today. I was just watching it before. Great video. And I'm on the same page as you. I've had people commenting on my videos asking me, or not even asking me, they're just boldly claiming that I'm getting paid by CD Projekt Red and by Nintendo. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. And hey, you know what? If that happened, that'd be badass because that'd be like a dream come true. Yeah. But it's like, no, man. Like, it's wild, some of the claims. But the fact of the matter is, I played the game. I love it. I would never miss a Mario Kart. And when it comes, if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, the dollars and cents, this game checks out better than any game in all of our libraries because of the amount of hours we put into it. Is there any game that we play more over a console lifespan than Mario Kart? Because you could say like, oh, well, sports game. Not really, because you buy a new one every year. This is one Mario Kart for 8 years.
Yeah, I think the only one that comes close really for most Switch users is probably Smash Brothers, where it's like
Animal Crossing because it's a life.
Animal Crossing too. Yeah, those are probably like the big three.
Those are my top three. I don't know what Smash is anymore because when I changed over to the OLED, it killed my time. It doesn't, for some reason, that didn't move over. But even right now, Smash shows me at 405 hours, and I know I was at like 800 prior to that. So that's at least 1,200 hours.
Yeah, just the math on it and the enjoyment you get. I think both of those have to be factored in the long-term enjoyment. Like, do you enjoy the game as much as you did the day you bought it 8 years later? And for me, yeah, I do. I still love Mario Kart. I still love Smash Brothers. All these NES games I have up here, I've literally played them recently. I've reviewed some of them. I've gotten my money's worth. Trust me. And this is going to be no different. That's where I'm at with it. I'm very happy. My body's ready.
So for me, overall, I'm stoked for this game. It looks like the Mario Kart of my dreams. I said this in my video today. Like, you told me 3 months ago that we were going to have open world Mario Kart collectathon. I would have needed several changes of pants, or I would have just said you're full of shit. And that's what we have. Hundreds of missions, all the coins, all the question blocks to hit. They're going to do whatever. I don't even know what the question blocks do. I still don't even really fully understand what it does. I don't really care. It's still something that I have to do because it's there. And, I'm very curious on these hundreds of missions. Are they going to get really boring, hitting the P blocks and collecting the coins? But it's a driving game. So it kind of makes sense. So how are they going to keep that fresh? Or is this going to feel like Korok seeds? I don't know. That's the thing. I'm excited to find out. Because, they obviously just showed one little quick example, but they're not all going to be that simple. So
I have a theory about the collectibles. This is purely speculative, but one of the big questions that I kind of walked away with, it was a question and kind of a concern for me. Something, obviously, last night on the podcast, we each gave kind of our predictions, our light predictions for what we thought might be there today. And, one of the ones that I talked about was, I want secrets and collectibles and stuff like that, and unlockables. And we saw the coins and like you mentioned, those little question block pressure plates and stuff that activate changes. And I was like, man, is there a point to it other than just region completion? Because if it's just region completion, that's a little disappointing for me, because I like chasing that carrot on the stick. I like knowing that, if I get enough coins, I'm able to purchase a new character or a new outfit or something. But then I noticed something when I was watching it, and this is speculative, so I may be way off with this, but let me know what you guys think. I noticed that whenever you collected, or whenever they collected one of those special coins or went over one of the question block pressure plates, it would show like a Nintendo sticker that was like a different sticker each time. And I also noticed in that direct today that in different parts of the direct, it showed carts that looked like they were covered in decals. Not always. Sometimes they were just like naked carts. Other times it looked like they had decals. So I'm wondering if you unlock like decals that you could customize your carts in. I don't know what you guys think about that. If
Absolutely.
I'm just making shit up, but
no, absolutely.
You do. It's a
I was
thing.
like, oh my gosh, I think you're gonna be able to like deck out your carts, which to me, I actually kind of like better than the way they've done it in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe, where you just race and then randomly over time you get random parts. It's RNG. You don't know what part you're gonna get. Maybe if you played the game on Wii U, you got the Hylian glider like immediately, and then when you got a Switch version, it took you 100 hours before you got that glider that you really loved. So I think this one could be a lot of fun, but that was kind of a question that I was like, I wish they talked a little bit more about the purpose of the collectibles or what you get out of it, other than you've completed 50% of this region, you need this many more stickers to 100% it.
Yeah. So look, my takeaway from the direct was I liked everything they showed, except that there's a lot they're not talking about. And that was my huge takeaway. Like a lot of things are going unexplained, and I think it's intentional because they still have a whole month and a half to advertise this game. So they have more stuff to trickle out over time. They'll do it through trailers, new trailers. They'll do it through social media posts, and some stuff they'll just leave for us to discover. And what's cool about leaving for us to discover, that's how you get word of mouth marketing after the game comes out. The reality is not everyone will buy a Switch 2 day one. Not everyone's going to get to play this game day one. And they know people are complaining about the price. Well, you know what might help alleviate some of that? Some really cool hidden things in the game that people start sharing on socials after it comes out. That's like, oh, you didn't know this. Oh, you didn't know that. I think there's actually quite a bit of that going on in this game. Obviously, we'll see how much of it they show before them. But people have kind of figured out the decal thing. You're not the first person to notice that. There's other screenshots where, like, specifically it's a zoom in on the car with a decal on it, and they're even showing like, oh, this decal matches this thing.
Oh, wow.
Screen.
Cool.
So it's like, so it's very much a thing. You caught on to that. And they never explained that. That's just putting pieces together.
Yeah.
Bowser Jr. had decals on his back shell.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
In one of the scenes as well. The other thing that I'm like 99% sure that we'll be unlocking is there's a little decal next to your name. I don't know if you guys noticed when it would show if you got first place or second or third. I noticed it during Treehouse, and it was like I couldn't make out what it said. It was like something never for races. I couldn't read and it was like, and then it looked like a men at work kind of sign or something like that, right? But but then on today's direct, anytime they showed multiplayer and you could see the little banners with your name on it, the local Switch that they were using, you could see like there was like the 1UP Fuel or one of those little icons, and they're next to everybody's name, and it got me thinking like, well, maybe this is almost like a Call of Duty banner where you get like the little decal, and then it would be great if you could even eventually customize the whole banner and maybe even have like moving banners and stuff like that. Like it would just be one other thing to unlock, you know?
Yeah. So I'm very impressed by this game. It's everything I ever wanted from a new Mario Kart and then some, because I was always like, how are they going to do a new Mario Kart? Everyone's always like, well, they can do a track maker or they can do a story mode. They didn't do either, and I am super impressed. They did things I did not think they would even think about doing. The free roam and the open world stuff. I never thought in a million years I'd be doing open world Mario Kart. Just didn't even cross my mind as an idea, even though there are some other games that have done it. It's just not that popular in the kart racer series. And then I never thought that we drive between courses, which kind of makes new courses between courses. I never thought there'd be so like it is a little weird. We'll get into the character stuff later, so I guess I'll save my thoughts on that. But I'm really, really impressed with this. Obviously, the general takeaway for a lot of people is they came into this direct hoping to see the price justified. Like, I'll just get to a few of these super chats here. Where Demonic Brawler is saying, hey, bonus podcast, let's fucking go. That's right, buddy.
Hell yeah.
We had to do it. We had to do it. Then we had Demonic Brawler say the biggest issue for anyone, and this is what I wanted to get to, was the letdown with today's direct is expecting to see justification for the $80 price point. If all we never knew the price, would have there been any disappointment? If we didn't know the price, but we knew the price of like Donkey Kong, then everyone would just assume that was the price. Mm-hmm. But it also would be really weird as a launch game to know that price and not know this price. So if the price was never announced, that would also be really weird since they announced the release date, right? So people might be even more nervous that there's no price point yet. But it is interesting that like the thought process going into this direct is far different from all the other directs. A lot of other game directs we went into, all people wanted to do is see more things in the game.
Yeah.
And I think this direct was judged differently because most of the world just wanted to be like, prove to me why I should spend $80.
Well, here's the thing. We've all talked about this. Nintendo's struggled with messaging, clear messaging to consumers during this whole Switch 2 announcement, reveal, direct period. And I feel like it was a huge mistake for Nintendo to imply, both Bill Trinen and Doug Bowser, like, hey, tune in for that direct and you'll understand why it costs more, essentially. Not a direct quote, obviously, but they're like, hey, I know it's more expensive, but watch the direct and you'll see why. And so I feel like, yeah, maybe we all got a little ahead of ourselves in the community, but I think that opened the door for people to expect that big one more thing, whether it was a single player mode or whether it was a whole new world or region that we hadn't seen in the treehouse and in the initial reveal. So I think Nintendo created a little bit of the chaos surrounding that, not intentionally, but no, I feel like that kind of opened the door to it.
I think I know. So it was mostly Bill Trinen that really did that one hint. That was like, hey, just tune into the direct. Hey, the 3-lap thing is back. I'll tease you that right now. It's into the direct. Tune into the direct for some other stuff. You'll kind of understand the pricing, or roughly around those words. But people were already doing it regardless of those words.
Yeah, sure.
But they're like, well, what the hell was he talking about? I know exactly what Bill Trinen was talking about. He was talking about free roam. He was talking about the hundreds of missions. They think that's a big deal. And it could be.
Yeah.
The problem was that they said hundreds of missions. The problem was they didn't show it enough of them. There's hundreds. Show me like a dozen, and they have all this different variety in them. And that would have maybe alleviate like the big concern people have is, oh, it's just collecting blue coins off a P block. How can that even be exciting? And the one thing you show up was like, okay, yeah, you do the quick grind thing. And then the one thing you mentioned is, oh, this just teaches you how to drive. Oh, so then this is just a tutorial.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but if there's more to it than just a tutorial, like, yeah, it does hone your skills, I'm guessing, to make you used to these new mechanics, the wall riding and the grinding. Fine. But where I want to know is if there is a lot of variety with this and you're just now introducing these missions, why not show a few of the really cool ones so people get hyped about, oh man, there's actually a ton of variety with these missions, hundreds of them, and they only showed us one people. And by the way, they still could do that in the future, and that could have been the whole thing. Hey, we're teasing this now. We'll show a couple more cool ones before launch. But it's like, yeah, but there's not going to be another game direct for this before launch, most likely. This is probably it. Right. So I'd be very shocked if there's another Mario Kart direct next month.
What they could do is do a launch trailer / overview trailer leading up to launch, and like tease and show off. But I agree with you, Nate. I think there's potential for these missions to be awesome. Think about like the fact that we have like the plane mode and the boat mode. They could have some cool wave race style challenges for Stash Man. They could have some cool pilot wing style challenges for Stash Man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential, and it kind of reminded me, I know it's different, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of the single player in the Splatoon games, because while those are a little bit more like story mode-ish single player, they really just exist for you to hone your skills and become a better player, so that when you jump into multiplayer, you're kicking ass and knowing all the techniques.
There was also this one screenshot of the world map when they opened it in the single player free roam mode that had little icons of some of the NPCs, like with some of the other playable characters on the map. I guarantee you some of the missions involve them. And that they could have just showed us one of those. Would have been cool. You know what I mean? Like that's why I think the problem with this is this basically was an overview that didn't deep dive into anything.
No.
And the problem is the stuff that probably is most exciting, which I truly think they believe that free roam stuff is the most exciting. You didn't show enough of it. And I get you don't want to show the whole world. You don't have to. Just show some of the some really neat missions. And you know, like as an example, what if those characters, when you meet up with them, some of the P block missions involve this really cool thing about collecting blue coins that does damage to a boss you're fighting together. That would be sick. It could be a thing. There could be Mario Kart SP block boss battles in there. It could be a thing, but we don't know. Because what if people are fast? Pow, baby. You know, you collect the coins, you get a thing. Sometimes it hurts an enemy. Sometimes, okay, what if it hurts an enemy? And then you got to run around and hit the P block again and collect the coins again in a different pattern while the boss is trying to stop you. And if the boss stops you, then you don't get all the coins and you don't do the damage to it. Like, there could be some cool mechanics there. And that's why I said my one negative takeaway was that they're hiding a lot, but that's also the positive takeaway because they kind of should be hiding a lot. So the thing is, you know, how do they did they justify the $80 price point? I'm a big believer of value is the eye of the consumer. So the one comment I really hated to see today, forget the people telling me that I work for Nintendo and clearly the weird thing wasn't that. The weird thing about those comments saying they paid me says, we all know all you Nintendo YouTubers are paid by Nintendo. What, for starters, most Nintendo YouTubers are being negative.
Yeah.
So let's start there. Most Nintendo YouTubers are actually being negative right now. I don't think Nintendo will be paying them to do that. And no, Nintendo doesn't pay YouTubers. And the one example someone brought up to say, no, you're lying. Look at that Zelda ad that got uploaded to Digital Foundry. I'm like, you know, Digital Foundry is not a normal YouTube entity, right? They're owned by Eurogamer, that's owned by IGN. And yes, Nintendo runs ads on those websites. That they did not come from the ground up YouTubers. They worked for Eurogamer. They still do. Like this, they are literally from mainstream media. So like let's relax a little bit. Digital Foundry is not your typical YouTuber. So it doesn't mean that, by the way, no shade to them. Absolutely. Yeah, Nintendo wants to come to me and say, hey man, we'll give you like $1,000 if you upload this ad for Zelda. What do you think I'm gonna do? Fuck yeah, I'm uploading that ad for Zelda. Thanks for the free money. But we're not. Guys, I literally do shots and drink on live stream. You think Nintendo likes that association? I'm surprised they didn't get my emails. like let's just be honest. I am not the family friendly YouTuber they want. I literally had a thumbnail that had blurted out F word in it yesterday. By the way, shout out to that video and shout out to my thumbnail artist. It was his idea. 36,000 views. I guess it worked.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Now that's a secret.
I was a little nervous putting that one up. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, it worked. It's fine.
Yeah.
It can be the message of the video, but no, just like I'm not going to tell you guys if the game's worth $80 or not because I do think that is subjective. I don't like the comment saying that it's objectively not worth. The value is subjective. Your money is worth different than say your neighbor's money. Everyone views money. Like example, if you're someone who's really well off, $80 to you is like wiping your ass money.
Here's the thing. Nintendo, I think this is a marketing play. It really is. The $80, they threw that out there to just get people talking about the game. And then they come and put the Mario Kart bundle out there. The majority of people who are going to want Mario Kart are going to buy the bundle. Nintendo is treating this as a $50 game. If you buy it at $80, great. But Nintendo is treating this as a $50 game because they will make more money on that $50 digital game than what they ever would make on a $70, $80 physical game. So they're trying to push everybody towards that $50 digital game because they're going to make more money on that.
To point out, you know, there's reports out there that 70% of the Switch 2 units in the US for launch are the bundle, not the standalone.
Wow.
Now, the counterpoint to what Eric said is it's a temporary bundle. So this MSRP, yes,
that doesn't mean there won't be a new bundle later.
Every Christmas.
We all know every Christmas,
right?
We all know every Christmas it's coming back, but it's still one of those. Yeah, but okay, it's not year round, so in between Mario Kart sales will be $80. Sure, maybe, you know, it's supposed to be 90 in Europe, and a lot of the retailers like, no, we're only charging 80. Like we're not doing this $10 difference thing
because they're not making the money on the $50 pack-in game.
Well, no, for the retailers, they're cutting out their profit margin. They're actually making it so they don't make any money off it. But they want.
But what I'm saying is that they're not making when people buy the bundle, they're not really. I mean, they're making some money off of the bundle, but they're not making the same amount of money off the game type of thing if they sold it physically. So.
Sure, maybe I have no.
They want to sell. They want to sell it. They want to bring people into the store, so you hopefully buy other.
Well, yeah,
other shit.
that's what that's always about.
Yeah,
that's why Walmart was doing a deal for $10 off Nintendo games day one. But anyways, yeah, go on.
I got a question for Josh because being the hardcore Mario Kart player here, obviously I'm a huge fan. I've been playing since Super Mario Kart on the SNES. I'd never consider myself a hardcore player. Very casual. I've played the shit out of the game. And I mean, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 the whole 10 years that it's been around. At almost every friend get together, we end up playing this game. Anyways, my question for you is, as someone who's a bit more hardcore, and it sounds like more competitive when it comes to Mario Kart, where do you see this as far as like your initial impressions? Because for me, as the more casual, just playing to have fun, I feel like everything that we've seen, I'm like, this looks better than any Mario Kart game we've ever seen, period. Hands down.
Yeah.
Is that the vibe that you get too? Or do you feel like you're still like, maybe you prefer Double Dash or like, what's your vibe having not played the game yet, just by looking at it?
So I would say 8 Deluxe is my favorite game.
Sure.
I mean, for multiple reasons. I mean, I've got so many hours. It literally changed my life, blew me up on TikTok. Like it's like it literally is a life-changing game for me. I've played every Mario Kart. And I play them a little bit differently, right? Like I don't think I play them like casually whatsoever.
Sure.
Or like as a casual, but I will play it casually depending on the situation. Sometimes I'm forced to use motion controls or something just so that other people can win or whatever the case may be, right? And so like Mario Kart for me is like it has sentimental value. Like there's just it's not just another Nintendo game.
Right.
And so as far as the way this one looks, I was showing you guys earlier. I've got a tattoo of the first of Super Mario Kart, the box art on my arm. Mario, they showed him today in the red pipe frame. It looks exactly like this artwork, right? Wonder looked very much like the artwork for Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES.
Yeah.
That alone just gets me like so hyped. Like looking like Mario is holding his breath while he's like taking some corners and the fact that like yeah, I'm very excited about some very silly things. The pipe frame gets me super excited all the time. Like I've got a statue of Mario in the pipe frame there. I've got the Christmas ornament of Mario in the pipe frame there. Like it's just something I love. Because it's again, there's a lot of sentimental value to that. Like going all the way back to the first game and so I'm gonna get into a little bit of what I think is happening with this game. I think Mario Kart World, the first world is very much Mario Kart, like, and Mushroom Kingdom, right? Look at all of the, look at some of the stuff they did today. I don't know if you guys saw the short I put out, but like, there is a scene where Donkey Kong throws a banana peel and Yoshi hits it, and it's the exact intro to Super Mario Kart, right? Like
it's so all those Easter eggs and nods today, just them lined up in front of the billboard for that for that photo moment. I was like, oh my gosh, my heartstrings.
Yeah, and all in the pipe frame, you know, and to me, this feels like the start of something very big. They're leaning heavily into Mushroom Kingdom, and you have a lot of people worried, like, well, where's Link? Where's Isabelle? There's no question in my mind that all of this is coming in the future. And coming in a big way. When we're seeing characters like Goomba and Bonefish,
Yeah.
that tells me that like if we get to a point where there's a Metroid world, you could be racing as a Metroid, not just as Samus and Zero Suit Samus, right? When it comes to Animal Crossing, you could literally have another 50 racers if you want, because they've got like 400 different villagers you could choose from.
I want to jump in real quick because I love that you're mentioning this. I had this thought today after watching the direct. I know a lot of people were, like, oh, where's Link? Where's, Isabelle? Where's all that stuff? And a lot of people are like, oh, it wasn't in the base game. That was DLC. But what's most exciting to me about them not doing this Nintendo Kart thing, and this is purely speculative, but the potential is really exciting if this comes to fruition, is we could get DLC where it's like, oh, this is the Hyrule update, and they add Hyrule Kingdom. You get Link, Zelda, Ganon, Tingle, some, bokoblins and stuff like that. And they have the huge Zelda update. Then they add the Mute City update, and it's a bunch of the characters from F-Zero and a bunch of tracks. And they do world updates, world DLC. So it's instead of the 48 tracks, maybe you're getting six tracks at a time in a whole location just dedicated. I think that's really exciting.
The beauty of it is we know, my assumption, it's just an assumption, but I would say we could pretty much bank on it, is that all of those tracks will be available to everybody, regardless if you purchase the DLC or not. Because they don't want to split the community in the races, right?
Yeah.
So you won't be able to race as those characters, but all the tracks will be available online for the remainder of this game, I can only assume. And so, and you got to remember, like, for me, I just want to see this game have a very long tail. So, and I want to see the community very excited. Nintendo does World Championships with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right now. We can all participate in them when they do them, and it's super fun. Like, it's really great. You can see Kevo and the guys that are always at the top of the list that are winning these World Championships when they go and race them. They're always the ones putting in the most time and getting the most points. And I mean, I totally get that. And there is so, like, I race in the pipe frame, standard wheels, and a Bowser glider in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I hate the meta. I can't stand the small wheels, even though there's the hidden stat for the mini turbos so that you can get mini turbos faster. And so I'm really hoping in this game that there's obviously going to be a meta if there's stats, but that there's so many karts and characters that are equal that you can choose from your favorites. Because I mean, I don't even know, does each costume have a different set of stats when it's tied to the kart?
That's an interesting question.
So they mentioned in the direct that your character selection combined with kart makes the stats. So the fact that each costume is its own character selection, I think that clearly means that there's a stat difference.
There's some sort of a change. Yeah. I want to give back time to everyone else, but I have one last question, and this one specifically for you, Josh. But I'd also like you to chime in on this one as well, Stash, because I know, based off of a couple podcasts ago when you're talking about your Switch experience and playing Mario Kart, that you're super competitive. When I was watching this direct today, and I was watching, the way that what do they call it? The boost jump and the grinding and the wall hopping, and the level of complexity in these tracks now, with like all the different layers of like verticality and different like potential paths, whether or not they're just little shortcuts or big ones. This to me looked like, hands down, and I'm saying this as a casual, so I stand to be corrected. But this looked to me the most competitive looking Mario Kart we've ever seen, because it seems like there's going to be a much bigger skill cap with a lot of these new mechanics that they've introduced. Even the rewind mechanic, man, just like the utility that brings to the game. And I love that they balanced it out, not making it like stupid by being like, hey, yeah, you can do this, but time keeps moving normally for everyone else. So you got to be careful how you use it. There's just so many layers and mechanics in this one, to me, that seem beyond what we've gotten in the past. So I'm curious from both of you guys, as being more competitive players, what you thought of that, if you feel, if you agree, and if that's something that's exciting.
Take it away, Stash.
Okay. So yeah, when Nate and I were watching it this morning, that was like the first thing that came to mind is that there's just going to be layers and layers of strategy here, which is really cool. To the point about the suits, the different costumes and then those being characters and then the character versus cart combination. There's going to be so many options there that I think that's why we don't have, at least as of right now, but it looks that way. We don't have cart customization with the wheels and the paraglider and all that because there's already going to be a ton. Just want to mention that. To me, this looks like almost like a new genre, depending on how you look at it. It looks like a platformer racer or a racer platformer with that jumping ability. Parkour. I just think about like how people are going to strategically map out the fastest possible ways to get to the finish line by factoring in the jumping mechanic. Obviously, the grinding on the rails, that was one of my favorite parts when I played the game. And then the wall mechanic. Like this really changes so many things. It's not just how good can you power slide anymore.
Yep.
It's not just about, having eyes in the back of your head and knowing when a blue shell is coming and knowing when to hit the brakes and let it pass you and let someone go in front of you real quick so they get smashed. The little like nuances. It's like, no, this is like way different now. This really, to me, it really changes the game. And I already felt like when I went and played at the event that knockout tour mode, I literally said that in the video, that this mode is a game changer. It's amazing. It's so awesome. It's super competitive. It's super sweaty, but in a good way. And
they added a way to troll people in this game.
Yeah.
And I laughed.
It's so funny.
Jump on a player's head and bounce and boost off of another player's head. Like, I love that small detail, zipping by someone and just doing a bounce off their head. See ya.
Yeah, it's wild. And so we have all that. Then there's the fact that you can actually enter vehicles. Like you can enter those semi trucks. You can enter the helicopter. We don't know really what's going on yet there. Like to the extent that goes. There's just so many things, and I know we'll get into it, so I'll wait to talk about that. But to your point, yes, I felt like I was already thinking strategy while watching the direct. Like my mind was going in a million directions, excited about, oh my God. Like how are we going to map out the best possible things to do on every track? Like, is it best to grind in this area, or is it best to take the corner really tight and get a power slide double boost? You know what I mean? Like, everything's gonna matter. It's really cool. That's where I'm at with that. So yeah, you're spot on about asking about that. What do you think, Josh?
I think based on the way Nintendo has treated Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like they have done some pretty insane updates through the years on it to try to get it more and more balanced, from like trying to remove bagging and trying to just get people to like race the game the way they wanted them to. But life will always find a way. That's at the end of the day, life will always find a way.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes. And as far as like Gamebird, if you want to just get a taste of what like the speedrunning community is like, do a quick search for Ribbon Road World Record and look for the history of Mario Kart's most unforeseen world record. It's crazy.
Send that to me in the private chat so I remember to look it up at the end of the show.
For sure. And anybody else that's interested, just look at the world record of Rainbow Road. It's like the fourth one down on it. It's about a 30-minute video. What's crazy with this game is like I play with a GameCube controller. When I start Mario Kart, I unplug my controller, I gently push up on my stick, I plug it back in, and that allows my soft drifting to happen at 90 and 45. I don't have to try to find that sweet spot that's just below the gates on my GameCube controller. All right. If I want to do wave gliding, I use the D-pad because that is my secondary input so that I don't have to hit pause, turn on motion controls, and then turn my Pro controller to the side so that you can shave just those milliseconds off of your lap, right? You can just do it with the GameCube controller. You lose the ability to shake the controller when you go over jumps and get your trick boost, but if you hit the trigger at the right time, you can still get it. This kind of stuff, I kind of want them to see done away with. I want to try to keep, like, I want the skill gap to be tied to the grinding, bouncing off, like jumping off the walls. What's happened in previous Mario Karts, you've got snaking, where people snake along, like on the DS, if you wanted to hit time trials, like to get the best times, you had to snake. In Mario Kart 8, you had to fire hop. So every time you had a boost and there was flames coming out of you had to jump the whole time because that would save just a little bit of time. And so what I'm hoping is that they've really, really fine-tuned this game to that, like, it's going to come down to the racing. Like, it's really, really going to come down to the racing, not some goofy technique or something like that. Because these, I mean, literally, if you watch the competitive stuff in Mario Kart right now, like, the people will start to go off the track, hit the pause button, turn on the assist. It won't allow you to fall. It brings you back on the track. They hit pause, turn it back off, and they're back to racing again. Right? Like, that kind of stuff's crazy. And it'll probably still, there's a potential for it to still happen in this next game. But I don't know that's going to be as big a deal because it seems like you can kind of go everywhere to a certain extent anyway. Not entirely. You're still going to be able to fall off. There's Rainbow Road. So get ready to wish upon a falling star. But overall, I think not only is it going to be super fun in the competitive scene right off the bat, I think Nintendo's going to be watching it like a hawk. And, I've seen people say, oh, I wish they'd do away with the coins. The coins are how they balance the game. The person in 24th place is probably going to have 20 coins, and the person in first place has 1. That's because you get your speed boost. It's like a 6% speed boost if you have 10 coins right now in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And so coins are a strategic part of the balancing of the game. So I'm glad they're there. I'm glad we're doing 20 this time around, and that they've added cool items to be able to do that. Like, I think that stuff's kind of cool. So on the competitive side of things, I think it's going to be phenomenal. The only thing I'm a little bit like, some of the roads to the next race do seem a little lackluster. Like, it's kind of like driving in a straight line, and that's going to be lap 2, lap 3, and then you finally get to the destination. That's the only thing. But if you could trick off the side of a bus and then be grinding, or the side of a railroad car, something like that, it could definitely add to the overall strategy of taking on those sections.
The thing that's cool about those long strips to me, or at least the potential, is I'm imagining, and granted, at least in Mario Kart right now as it stands, oftentimes like first and second are way ahead of the rest of the group. But I love the idea being that there's 24 racers this time, is just like 10 to 15 racers in that long stretch, all loaded with items, and it's just like warfare down that long strip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that's the idea that pops in my head, and it just sounds like a fun time. But I definitely hear you.
Yeah. So just to toss out a few of the super chats, just to get some of you guys' thoughts in here. Demonic Brawler was saying he felt like it was a good direct, and we learned new stuff, saw more gameplay footage, and overall the game looks really fun. For one, can't wait to play. Love to see that positivity. And we're not done with the positivity. More comes in here. Christian second ago saying this looks like the best Mario Kart in history.
Agreed.
I don't mind spending a lot of cash on. Mario Kart is definitely one of them. And just to keep the positive vibes going, this actually shows, I feel like, a really, assuming this is correct because I didn't verify this, but this shows definitely this might be a cultural thing going on with this price, because the price went up everywhere for games, including this one. And Sound Vortex comes in here and says, I watched the Japan Direct for Mario Kart World. The chat was full of positivity and excitement. We're talking about the Nintendo stream. Completely the opposite from the USA chat, which was overtaken by trolling. And that shows like a big cultural divide too. The game went up in Japan as well. Yeah. It's more expensive in Japan, and they're just excited.
No surprise there, dude. No surprise there.
What a shocker. The US likes negativity.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Have you been on social media about any topic ever?
Night and day difference.
It's crazy, that cultural difference, and like just how excited they are in Japan in general for Switch. I mean, I've got some people from Japan that come to my live streams every night, and they're just like, dude, it's palpable here. People can't stop talking about Mario Kart. They can't stop talking about Switch 2. It's nothing but positivity. Well, that's, it's a cultural thing too. Sometimes with this price stuff, we're kind of conditioned to get angry about things, even though prices are going up over there too. I don't know, obviously, what any of the European streams are like. I don't know if there was a difference in those. They have different cultures as well. But very interesting to hear some feedback on what Japan is like, because Japan's the number 2 nation for them selling their units. It's all of Europe's technically number 2, but those are a bunch of different countries. Country-wise, it's US number 1 for Nintendo, then Japan, and then some European countries. And anyways, but Europe's like the number 2 overall territory. But I always find it's weird that like we call Nintendo's number 3 best-selling territory is Japan. Well, what's number 2? Europe. Okay, well, Europe is more than one country.
Right.
Like, what do we do? Europe is more than one country. Okay, maybe it's because they standardized the euro, obviously, across a bunch of different nations. That's probably why they do it economically that way. We'll save that one for the Q&A section here. This is one to kind of bring up because people have been talking about tournaments and everything. So excited for Mario Kart World, but worry there are moments in the direct where I wanted easy confirmation. I'm not seeing tournaments, 200cc, getting Mario sports game vibes. Do you feel like let's go to Josh. Do you feel like 200cc is just in there? They just haven't shown it yet. And what about tournaments? Because tournaments were like a huge thing in 8.
Yeah, the thing I've raced the most is tournaments, because I can literally have an unlimited number of people race. Every 4 races we get shuffled, so there'd be nights that I have 60 people racing. Everybody's having a good time, getting a chance to be on stream. And if that's gone away, like, yeah, I can set up a room every time and 24 people rush in, but like I do that on Mario Party Jamboree right now. And it's kind of a cluster trying to like, hey, if you join, please don't join right away. And then people do because they're not regulars and that kind of stuff. 200cc, I think these tracks look designed for 200cc and maybe even higher, right?
Yeah.
Like the carts look smaller, the tracks look bigger. And I think that's a definite design feature right there. So that, because Mario Kart 8 was not designed for 200cc. There's a couple of tracks that were, but that's why you had to really learn the tracks in 200cc or use your brakes to hit corners and that kind of stuff. So I'm 100% with Cryptic. There were a number of things, like it almost seemed like in a way we lost modes that weren't there. Even when it came to battle mode, the Bob-omb Blast, like I think it's called Bob-omb Blast or something like that, and then like the one was like Cops and Robbers. Like I can't remember. I don't play a lot of battle modes, so bear with me. But like
Robbers type one.
But like we only saw 2 modes. Now, granted, they can add these things down the road, but it's like are they there and they didn't tell us, or they kind of showed us the menus and it kind of looked like maybe we were seeing the majority of it. And it's just I understand there's 24 players, so they've got to mix things up. They've got to be able to balance that kind of stuff. But at the same time, they've got it set up for up to 8 players, so they could do or up to 4 teams. I mean, with and so it's like, well, you could even do like different battles that were like 4v4v4. Like there's more that they can add. And again, we assume it's happening over time, but I saw some chats that are like, and I was thinking the same thing, like Nintendo's messaging hasn't been great. So then we speculate on all this stuff. And then like today, a lot of stuff we speculated about didn't happen. And then like, are we part of the problem for the expectations?
we totally are.
We're excited fans too.
They are too. No, I honestly, I feel like one of the weak points from today's direct was the lack of battle mode information. That being said, I am very happy to see that battle mode's going to be there day one. It's not coming at a later time. I'm doubly happy to see that they're actual battle arenas and not like how they started Mario Kart 8, where it's just they just throw you on a racetrack, which was terrible. It was just like, I remember doing battle mode in Mario Kart 8 early on and being like, I can't even find anyone. Like we're on the other side of the track.
Yeah.
But I do wish they spent more time with it. Obviously, they reimagined the awesome donut level from Mario Kart 64.
Yes.
But updated with the dragon that jumps out of the lava. Love to see that. That was exciting. But then it was over. And I was like, wait, no, I want to see a little bit more. Show me more of the cool battle mode stuff. So I wish they would have done more with that. But I'm sure there's more to see there.
Well, and I will say this, like the fact that there's going to be 4 teams this time around. I don't know if you guys have done much team racing in Mario Kart, but the main competitive Mario Kart scene takes place in what's called the lounge. There's a Discord for it. It's like 50,000 people. And you go in there, you queue in with this bot on Discord. You go in with, like, if it's a 2v2, v2, v2, v2 or whatever, and your partner has a similar name to you so that you can see where they're at. You're making call outs in Mario Kart, which sounds crazy, but you're like, yo, I've got the blue. Are you in first or second? I'm in second. Okay, I'm going to throw the blue. Like there's strategy to the overall gameplay. And when I introduced it to my community and we started doing team, like everybody loved it. Like, and what's great when Nintendo offers the team gameplay, your shells don't attack your teammates. So you can be in first place watching a blue shell hit like third place because somebody
so
on your
rad.
team was at the end of the pack and they're the ones tossing it. So there's definitely, and Nintendo is huge in schools with esports, with Smash Bros, Splatoon, and Mario Kart. This thing's gonna be relatively big in the esports scene. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be very, very big in the esports scene, as long as Nintendo doesn't get their grubby mitts and shut things down like they sometimes do.
Totally.
Nintendo hasn't always been friendly with the esports world, but sometimes they leave certain things alone. We'll see. Yeah, there's just a lot we could dive into. Maybe so I'm just got to the super chats. A lot of these can be saved for later. Let's maybe talk about the new courses they showed off. Because, look, it's kind of funny. I watched a lot of reactions online, and people were like, "Oh, we already knew all of this." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I haven't seen any of these courses."
There's a course that I am so hyped for in this game.
Is it Halloween one, the mansion?
Yes, the haunted movie theater one.
Yeah,
Dude,
what is
I
Boo
love
Cinema, Boo
that
Cinema.
shit. Boo Cinema. I love that shit. And then when they went through the screen kind of goes ghostly and they go through the screen and it's like they're in the horror picture and that's the course. And it shows, I don't know if this happens as a mechanic of the level. If it does, way cool. They could have just done an edit to reflect
I
this.
played the
When
level,
they-
so I can
when
tell
they-
you.
Oh, awesome. When they go through the movie screen, it shows Waluigi in like a Dracula costume or
Yeah.
a vampire costume. So I was curious, does everyone change into like horror characters when they go through, or was that just something that they did as a cool edit for the direct?
I mean, it could have been a cool edit. Also, there could have been those food bag items in there, and everything
Right.
in there turns you into something themed to that course. Could be the
Oh,
case.
that's a good idea. Could be
Because-
that.
Because you're gonna want to get the food bag, even if you don't care about the costume change. They confirmed it gives you a little boost every time, so it's worth getting the bags to get the speed boost.
Yep.
Not
love
for me.
that.
Don't change my outfit.
I gotta say too, I love the costumes. I think this is a lot more fun and exciting than collecting parts, wheels and gliders and stuff. Me personally, I like that they have like kind of like the designated carts to choose from with the set stats. Sometimes you just want a cart that looks awesome. And I know you, like you mentioned, Josh, that you don't like the meta cart and stuff with like the tiny wheels. It's like I hated using that stuff, even though I knew it was better. I'm like, I don't want my cart to look dumb. I'd rather pick a character that balances well with the cart that I really like. So
Bro,
I'm all for the costumes.
Everybody in the current meta looks like they're at the mall on those little bears with wheels,
Yep.
like just
Yep.
cruising around. Like that's what everyone looks like right now.
Oh man, that was a time, wasn't it?
Oh yes.
The malls with those little bears, the little animals. That was a weird time in life, wasn't
It
that?
was so weird.
Like,
so
what is
weird.
going on? Like,
Trying to keep them all alive with little kids playing Mario Kart
Yeah.
through the halls.
so weird.
I'm watching this footage and I'm just smiling again. This is the way I was the entire direct. Like I
Dude,
went back
these
and watched
courses
the
are great.
reaction. All I was doing was smiling. And I didn't start feeling down about it until I started reading comments. And I'm like, dude, I was having so much fun just watching the gameplay. I'm not even playing.
Here it is.
Yeah, hey, if you back
so
back that up a little bit, Nintendo threw that penguin off
already there.
intentionally.
I know they
Oh,
did.
Totally did. They totally did. They did it, I think, twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo.
And I think
hates
it plays
penguins,
N64 music when it jumps when
It
it
is.
makes that jump. So
It's playing
Yep.
that new Bob-omb Battlefield Mario
confirmed.
Kart mix.
And it sounded so good.
Oh, sounded so good. Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, I can't wait. That's one thing I've said from the beginning. Like, I can't wait to hear the entire soundtrack because, like, from what I could hear at the Switch 2 experience, I mean, it was awesome. And historically, don't we all love the Mario Kart soundtrack? I mean, you can hear
Yeah.
the songs in the background of a lot of my videos.
oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
I
love
even loved if you guys remember with Mario Kart 8 when they did those really cool videos where they showed the bands that did like the theme and like the F-Zero music. They showed them in studio.
Oh
like,
yeah.
doing
So sick.
doing the music, and it was epic, man. Yeah, whoever does the music, I don't know if they're using the same musicians this time, but man,
It's like
Mario
jazz
Kart's top
fusion,
tier.
and that bass player, he just rips. And
He
so does that
rips,
drummer.
dude.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
do you
these
guys,
levels look great.
yeah, do you
I'm
guys have
sorry,
any
anyone
more
says.
thoughts on because the ones they showed today where we had Mario Bros Circuit, Crown City, Salty Speedway, Star View Peak, Boo Cinema, Toad's Factory, Peach Beach, and Wario Shipyard. I also liked Wario Shipyard. I really like the
Looks
way
really
it looked.
cool.
The way they looked. We didn't get to see a lot of the actual course.
Hey,
What
if you back that up just a little bit, does that look like a
Yes.
like a high rule?
Yes. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Totally does.
Here's
Doesn't it?
Hyrule Castle spot.
Yeah, you got Death Mountain right there.
Yep.
You got Kokiri Forest or the Lost Woods, I mean.
Yeah, it's kind of
It does.
reversed a little bit, but yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is reversed because Death
Yeah, it's
Mountain was over
reversed,
here,
yeah.
Snow was
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
It's like a reversed Hyrule map.
Top part of it, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you reverse it, like Lake Hylia was over here, it's over here.
Yeah, the desert's still on the lower left.
Desert's still on the left. Yeah, this could be where Hyrule Castle is with the moat around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say too, Nate, you were just playing footage of the tracks again, and I feel like, and obviously scope has to be a big part of this, but even when it shows like them actually, not these shots, these are beautiful like landscape shots, even when it shows the racers like racing through the tracks, there's a more cinematic look this time to me. You know, they show like the huge I almost said bosses, but the huge creatures like jumping at the sandworm jumping out of the sand, and the whale that dives right here and stuff. Like there's a much more cinematic feel to these tracks, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, look, I look at all these tracks and they look amazing. Obviously, a lot more freedom on the tracks, which goes along with the style of the game. It seems like there's gonna be a lot of more alternative courses that you could take, like maybe the most alternative paths we've ever seen. Like there was the one scene where I wouldn't have even thought about it, even with the mechanic, where the character goes just off the side and literally just wall grinds all the way up and gets a boost. And I'm like, I wouldn't even thought to do that in that moment. Like it wouldn't even cross my mind to even attempt that. I would feel like I'm falling off and I got to get carried on back. No, actually, just keep going. I'm like, that is sick. That might even be faster than what everyone else is doing. That's cool. Yeah, so I like how there's so many alternative passers. Obviously, so much going on visually as well. These are some of the most alive courses we've seen. We're seeing NPCs in the background. We're seeing,
Yeah.
You mean NPCs that are actually doing something on like Pokemon?
Well, this is a team that makes better games than Pokemon. So,
Positive cast.
Keep it positive. Sorry, anyways, I mean, the game, it just looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I know some of it is just, okay, it's higher resolution, and we're just, I'm not used to high resolution Mario Kart. Like I'm just not.
But wait, just wait.
Serious.
When you see those colors pop in person with the HDR, it like the footage. I'm just saying the footage Nintendo's released, like the footage we're watching now, it does it no justice. Truly mean that. I hope you guys remember. So when you play this, you can come back and be like, hey, legit, like it does look crazy good. You don't need to say you were right because I know you guys believe me, and I don't want to hear that. I just I just want to hear your enjoyment out of it because those colors are amazing.
Yeah, I literally just looked up. Oh, cool. So YouTube does support HDR live streaming. I don't know if I could do it on a podcast. I'm thinking about future game streams. If I can get you guys an HDR stream for those that have monitors and even your phones. A lot of your phones these days just naturally support that. So maybe we can try to get a better look at it. Anyways, nothing's ever going to be as good because of compression through streaming. But because obviously we're not streaming on HDR. And I don't think Nintendo was streaming in HDR either. I don't think that was an option when I looked at their stuff. Because when people stream in HDR, I know it'll say like your resolutions and it'll say FPS, and then there'll be one that says HDR. They didn't have that as a selection. Which to be clear, not every HDR is kind of a newer thing for streaming equipment. Not a lot of streaming equipment supports it. So, this is pre-recorded though. Nintendo, come on.
Yeah,
you could have there's capture equipment. You could have pre-recorded it some HDR. I have an HDR capture card. Come on, Nintendo, you could do it. That being said, I mean, does anyone else have anything they want to say about the track so far? Like, I think they look incredible.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, does anyone have a different favorite besides like the Boost Cinema? Like, and that was an obvious fan favorite because everyone likes Halloween themed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love classic tracks, honestly. Like, I love the Mario circuit that they showed, and I love how it like everything kind of looks a little bit worn, which I love that, like that aesthetic, right? Where it looks like this looks all very dusty, like it looks pretty dusty. And I dig it. Like it's been around forever. I also love the little details where it's like, it looks like the classic Mario Brothers arcade game on that little LED that was just kind of running saying Mario Brothers circuit. Like there's so much to these tracks, right? Like I said earlier, the only thing that worries me a bit is just those long straightaways, like getting to the track. But when they get to the tracks, like the Donkey Kong track where you got the road, like
that one is my second one that I'm like, dude, this looks so cool. I love how like that chain link fence like narrows and people are like parkouring off of both sides.
Oh yeah,
and you got the robot DK throwing barrels and stuff. So cool.
Oh, I got to give a shout out to Sunshine that says a little bit worn, just like Josh. Thanks for that.
Jeez.
So, obviously, especially once we got to 8 Deluxe, like Mario Kart really became about the modes, right? Lots and lots and lots of different modes. Knockout Tour, they're pushing this as like a big, hey, we've never done anything like this before. You're going to love it. Now, Stash got to play it and won. Because he's a badass. First time player. Beat all the other first time players. Like, out of here. But like, do you guys foresee this being like as big a deal as the tournaments were? Because this is a really, really fucking awesome. Like, to me, it looks so just I mean, it's only 24 players or whatever, it's 22 or 24 racers, right? So it's only 24. But dude, this is insane to me that they have this mode that automatically eliminates people on a non-stop race. That's sick.
I think this is going to be huge. And Stash, I meant to ask you when you got to play this mode, because you won, obviously. So I know you directly wouldn't have experienced this.
Well, Nintendo paid him, remember? So
yeah, he was paid. But
yeah, they allowed me to win because I was on their payroll.
Were you able to watch anyone play this mode who got eliminated? And what happens? Do you just spectate and hop from racer to racer and see who you want to follow? Does it throw you into a lobby? Like, what happens when you at elimination?
So I talked to Paul Gale, and he said that when he got eliminated, you cross like the finish line, which it looks like, the little, it looks like a portal almost when you go through each section.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very close to moving on, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so it lets you race for like another 3 seconds. So he said it like basically trolls you into thinking that you've moved on, but then you haven't. And then it's just game over and like you have to wait. There's nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh and I were talking about the idea of them letting you turn into like a bomb.
Yes.
And you could like
super
walk the
cool.
track and try to, because there's a lot of strategy in that, because imagine if you get knocked out, or if like even if you're in Grand Prix and you're very close in points with someone and they're still in the race, obviously your goal then, if you're a bomb, would be to blow them up. So there's obviously a ton of strategy in that, so it would be cool.
Well, what we've seen today too is like there's vehicles with piranha plants in the back that are chomping as they're going by. There's vehicles
and
with,
Hammer Bros.
And Hammer Bros and vehicles with giant bullet bills. So like they could let us come back as a troll player in this
love
mode,
that.
which I think would be great. I'm a bit concerned with Knockout Tour. I have a feeling that we're all gonna love it a lot at the beginning, and then it might go stale after a bit if there's not a little bit more added to it. And what I kind of I look at Mario Party Jamboree, which is like this game that's packed full of content, but within the modes there's like not as much content. You look at Koopathlon and Kaboom Squad and that kind of stuff. They're super, super fun, but at the same time, it's like they need more. So I'm worried that we're really, really going to like this. It's going to get played a ton, but it might be a little bit of a flash in the pan. I hope that's not the case, and that it's something. And I think with the it's a little bit hard to imagine 24 players also with Mario Kart, because I've just done the 12 for so long with 8 Deluxe that I could be completely off. So I hope I'm wrong. But I am a little bit concerned that it's going to be super hype at the beginning and then potentially fall off.
Well, I think this is going to be the mode like they use the tournaments a lot to push like all these events that they've been doing. Like even still, there was just recently a Mario Kart 8 tournament event that Nintendo was running. I think they're going to use knockout mode for that, and because of that, there might be more and more to this. Like customizing, as an example, the actual path. So you have like a different, so you can, it's not the same every single time. Maybe there's even voting on that, and the voting, like in Mario Kart 8, could lead to the 4 that are connected, which can make it even crazier, or however long you need to do for the knockout part. I also think, if they do have stuff in there, or eventually add stuff in there, where when you're knocked out, well, since you can't leave, at least in the demo, you couldn't leave and go get into another knockout race. It would be cool if they had that sort of thing where you could come back as an enemy, like further down,
the
and
death wheel,
and then try to do something to stop
F-Zero.
the others. Yeah, like death wheel sort of. Like, yeah, that would also just make it infinitely fun, because then everyone's having fun the whole time. Like, you get eliminated, but you still get to say, you know what? Screw those bastards that got ahead of me. I'm gonna make sure that person who hit me with that green shell and stopped me from getting that place, I'm taking his ass out. You ain't making it to the next round. And that would just make it so much more fun and infinitely replayable. That's the thing, is like the tournament mode, you think about it, it kind of was just the same thing all the time, but you would just be playing different courses all the time.
Yeah.
They could also do, it's yet to be seen what plans Nintendo has for this game down the road, but man, they could turn some of these modes, like Knockout Tour specifically, into like big events, like how Splatoon has its big Splat festivals and stuff like that, where it's themed. They could do something special for the Mario 40th anniversary. There could be like a special Knockout, event in the game, that has fireworks with the 40th anniversary going off. And, maybe they put a special item, or a world. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping with 40th anniversary, that like they put a new section of track that looks like the 8-bit blocks, and really celebrate the
they start doing
the
that sort of
40th.
stuff. Because this game's going to be an entire generation game. There's no more Mario. This is it. There'll be DLC probably. Yes. I mean that's just too obvious down the line. But knowing that they're launching this day one, they could be setting this up behind the scenes to be like, yeah, we're gonna run like really cool things for anniversaries, and build all these custom things that are only for a set period of time. Kind of like you think about it, kind of like even how Fortnite does it. For a set period of time, they have a certain theme running. They could do that, like 40th anniversary of Zelda next year. Hey, we got this really sick like Zelda circuit that's just going to be running for like, from X date to X date, and play the hell out of it, love the hell out of it. Maybe we remix it and bring it back later to celebrate when the new Zelda game comes out or something, or when the movie comes out, but like it's temporary. But then you look forward to the next one we announce, like, oh, we have a special Kirby circuit coming up, for an anniversary for that, or obviously the Mario one, the 8-bit Mario. That would be really sick if they would do something with that for the 40th. I'm not saying that they are. Obviously, this is all speculation that they would, but Nintendo, was doing a lot of events. Like they tried to theme their tournaments throughout the era with a game that was never really built for what they were trying to do. Well, they got to build this from the ground up for a long time to plan ahead for this kind of stuff. And, they're trying to really push the community aspect of it. And that's one way to do it. Bring the entire Nintendo community together with your most popular franchise and give everyone a reason to want to come in and play, whether they're good at the game or not. Like, I think that's, it also just adds to the value of the game and the replayability. I mean, Mario Kart, its replayability is usually based on the fact it's just infinitely fun. I mean, it's fun to race. It is what it is. Like, and I mean, can you imagine this might be a bittersweet. They never bring Wave Race back, but they create a Wave Race course.
I was thinking about that today.
totally.
I'm not joking. I was literally thinking about that today.
I mean, they have a jet ski cart.
Yeah.
I want a course that's like 98% water that just feels like a total wave race.
I do too. And give us the music too on that track.
Yeah.
Literally, it should be a wave race track, because we're not going to get a wave race, right? Outside of Blue Storm on GameCube, the odds, I have always said, I think the odds probably might be better that we get a new Earthbound before a wave race.
Yeah.
I just don't see it
Possible,
happening.
but not likely.
Yeah, but you could really do something with Mario Kart for a wave race. You could do some way to honor it.
Yeah, they did it. It's Excitebike, and the music's phenomenal. Like, it's one of my favorite things about that course in Mario Kart 8.
Same here.
Good.
So good.
Like, I literally, every time I do that track, I'm smiling the whole time. I'm like, God, I love this.
Same. And it's just all like these huge jumps. And it's awesome.
Do you guys know there's 200 variations of that track?
Jeez.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because in Excitebike, there's a track maker. So there, except for time trials, is the same for every time you get into it. But every time you race Excitebike, it's basically a different track.
That's wild.
Awesome. So, okay. So let's get, so we went over courses, went over at least knockout mode. We obviously it's hard to go over to the battle mode and the other stuff because they didn't show a whole lot other than, hey, arenas are back. Like, that's really cool. But I don't think they showed enough for us to really discuss anything other than, okay, there might be a little bit less on those multiplayer modes because we had so many in 8 Deluxe, but who knows? It could be one's not announced yet. Let's talk about stuff that we do know. Hey, let's talk about the characters and the carts and the costumes. Like, how are we feeling about how they're handling this? Do you think some of this stuff is going to be unlocked? Because like we know the costumes, they explained all that it's unlocked, but what about the characters? And we saw some crazy characters that they mentioned, like 3 new ones, and then they go through the selection screen. I'm like, dude, there's way more than 3 new ones. Why are we ignoring all these other ones? I've never seen these in a Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 50 characters total, right?
I think there's 184 slots.
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of that's for costumes,
right?
Because the costumes are different slots, but I think it's 50 unique characters, which is pretty friggin' gnarly. I'm sure some people are going to be like pissed that one of those characters is a cow. I love that. That's weird, Nintendo, and I love weird Nintendo. So I'll totally be playing as a crab and an ostrich and all that stuff.
Yeah, they showed the crab and the ostrich. Oh, what's the name of this enemy? I always forget the red with the wing guy.
It's a bitty buggy cart in the other game. Let me look it up.
Yeah. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Dude, these costumes are so awesome though. Like, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, they look so good. They put a lot of effort into the
comic. I want to speak about that real quick because that was for me was the most hype item today. Obviously, that Hammer Bro item looks sick, and I see a lot of like cruel implementation of that when this game launches. But I love that like it turned everyone into the football players, and all the NPCs that mess with you got turned into them as well. Really cool. But I love that it's RNG, and that's just one of the many possibilities that could happen. That to me is really exciting. Never know, like that kind of like mystery item. I think that's really, really cool.
They're called Bitty Buds.
Bitty Buds.
Okay, makes sense. So I'm just looking at the characters. My God, there's so many.
Rosalina's sleeves don't fit her arms. Baby Rosalina, her sleeves are just dangling because her hands are stuck inside. Like, I love it.
Oh man,
use your arrows.
Now.
Oh yeah, there's a dolphin too. Can't you play as a dolphin?
Yep, and ride a dolphin bike.
Yeah,
right. That is a sick joke right there.
Do you think there will
right
be
right there? This scene right here with
there's the
like
decals.
her ice cream cone is shaped as a spiny shell, which is just amazing. Yeah, but the snow is building up on her helmet as well.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
Weather effects.
Mm-hmm.
Is it raining question blocks?
Yeah,
there's hundreds of them.
Yeah,
you guys see that?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that in the trailer, but with this still, I'm like, there's question blocks everywhere.
That's awesome.
Could that be another comic type
maybe
thing happening?
I'm gonna be so annoyed if I get changed into a charging Chuck.
I do like Spike too.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Spike, yeah. Oh man. Well, so okay. So the characters, obviously, they look sick. I really like them. Obviously, I don't know if we know the total count of unique characters versus costume characters yet.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you guys think the characters are going to be unlocked? Because usually they're not all there right away. So, like, do you guys think there's like, is it in the free roam mode? Is it part of the challenges?
Maybe it's those faces you were talking about. Driving around free roam, going and collecting everybody's coin.
Sure.
I love that. I mean, we talked about this last night. I don't know how you feel about this, Josh. I'm a sucker for secrets and unlockables. And I feel like I'm a dying breed with that stuff because I remember when Smash Ultimate came out and they started the roster off with only eight fighters. I was stoked. I was like, yes, like I get to unlock the whole roster. And I remember so many comments and people posting about like, this sucks. I want everyone from the get-go. So I feel like I'm a relic of the past with that. But for me, if they don't give us all 50 at once and I've got to like complete missions or find character tokens hidden throughout the world or complete Grand Prix with a certain character, complete it with Mario to unlock Bowser, stuff like that. I am all for that stuff. I love that carrot on the stick. And it just gives me a reason to, not that I'm not going to want to explore and do these things already, but it just gives that extra kick in the butt to go out there and do everything,
Yeah, I'm all about the unlockables because it gives you plenty. Like I'm anticipating, like I honestly am a Mario main through and through. When I see Mario, it reminds me of my childhood. It puts a smile on my face, right? Like the thing is, I'm gonna want to unlock everybody else's costumes. So I'm gonna spend time with every character unlocking those costumes. Like I think there's gonna be plenty to do. It's just a different Mario Kart experience than everybody's used to. But I think there's going to be plenty to unlock, and I think it looks like you can do it in any mode. What I'm really hoping for is like, those little icons I was talking about next to your name. if I do 10,000 mini turbos, I want a wheel with blue fire coming off the tire, right? So that's like it, because in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you can see how many mini turbos you've done. You can see like it tracks a lot of different like achievements, if you will. And so those kind of carrots on the stick where it's like 10,000 ultra mini turbos, like that's going to take a very long time. But if I know every time I'm doing one, it's going to work towards unlocking something or grinding X amount of distance. Like
giving you titles too, like titles under your character name, master grinder or what, whatever it is.
That was my name in high school. No, I'm just kidding. But
crankshaft.
But yeah, that kind of stuff that like really just like gives you a reason to keep doing this stuff, and it's just happening in the background. It's not that big a deal, but like I personally love that stuff. I mean, it was a cool thing in the older Mario Karts to complete all of the Grand Prix, get the 3 stars, and then have those 3 stars next to your name.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff went away. And so to have those kind of like those accomplishments or whatever, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Okay,
Where'd he go? Come back.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm Nate.
Does he have crickets on the soundboard? Eric?
Yeah, great. Let's see here. What about like the new items and stuff? What are you guys thinking about those? What was your favorite out of that?
I think Kamek.
Kamek is really, really cool. The hammer's really cool. I got that item when I played, and I did like the fact that it throws like I think it's 3 hammers, but they stay on the actual track for a few seconds, and you can throw it, I think, 3 times. So you basically get to throw 9 hammers, and they stay on the ground for about, it feels like 2 to 3 seconds. That's a good weapon. The ice fire flower is cool. Yeah. Because now we see that it actually turns you into an ice block for a moment, which it should. And that would be especially cool. I mean, think about it, if you're driving on a track that doesn't have any rails and you hit someone with the ice flower and it turns them into an ice block and they just fall off the side. Perfect. That's what you want. It's great. I love it.
Did you feel like there was a big difference between ice and fire? Because it seems like your cart, whoever you hit, it seems like they basically move the same. Like if you hit them with fire, you hit them with ice. It's just there's an ice animation over the top. Like I assume it's the item that I'm the most like confused by, and I'm wondering if like certain tracks will only have one or the other. Like if you're in the snow levels, if that's when you get the ice flower, and then if you're in non-snowy levels, if that's where you get the fire flower.
I was curious about the gold shell that does the 20 coins. Now, obviously, if I had to guess, I'd say the gold shell doesn't hit anyone at the very least until it's distributed its 20 coins and then it will hit someone, or is it a non-offensive item and just purely for like a support item for coins? I don't know if you got the answer to that.
That's a good question. I don't know. Stash, did you get to throw one or see one thrown when you played?
I'd have to go back and look at my footage, but I think I did throw one. Like I'm 99.9% sure I threw one. But I don't remember if there was any offensive attached to it. It moved very quickly. And I was like taken in by the coins, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I got to get these.
I have to imagine it will avoid racers until it distributes the 20 coins. Unless there's scenarios where, like, be careful when you use this, because if you hit something, you only get the amount of coins that it was able to spit out. But I'm just curious if it even will hit an enemy at all,
or does it going through them and just keep going?
Right. Does it? Maybe it just keeps going through them. If you're in its way, it works like a green shell that, once it distributes its 20 coins, it poofs out. Or if it waits till it does the coins, then it will attack the nearest driver. I'm just curious the mechanics of that, because I feel like there's a few different ways that they could kind of
I don't think
spinning.
it really showed much of like people around when they threw the coin shell.
I wonder if it's like a mini blue shell where it will hit anybody that's in the path until it disperses, and then because they just tossed it right there, but it's like it doesn't look like its objective is to necessarily hit somebody, but more feed you the coins.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine it just like going through somebody without spinning them out. Like if you threw that into a pack, you're probably hitting a few people. I will say this too, like the way you can carry items behind your cart, like we're seeing right now with the mushroom, I find it interesting. The bomb in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you could hold it behind your cart, but it was, unless you were in 200cc, I believe, with 10 coins, if a shell hit that, you would take damage from it as well. You had to drop it before the shell hit so that you could avoid getting hit. In this game, that doesn't seem to be the case because we see a spot where Donkey Kong is trailing it, and I believe it hits a Mario and a Rosalina at the same time.
Mhm.
They both take damage from it, but Donkey Kong does not. So they changed that up just a bit. It does seem like items aren't nearly as big of a deal this time around. Like it doesn't seem like you're when you get hit that you're like, other than like when Treehouse tried to dodge the blue shell with the feather and Mario ended up on his head and was just upside down. But I think that's a super cool mechanic too, that if you can out jump the blue shell's explosion, that's another way to dodge a blue outside of the mushroom, the horn, the star, the ghost, and the bullet. Like that's going to be, especially if it's like a pixel perfect thing, like with the mushroom, that's going to be super, super cool. Like I'm so excited to test that out.
Speaking of mushroom,
see if it works. No, you're good.
In Mario Kart 8, when mushrooms are spinning around you, other people can steal them, right?
They can grab them and get a boost off of them.
Yeah.
If you have the crazy 8, they can steal that.
Yeah, so that almost looks like it's like I've seen on this where it looks like racers go right straight through your mushrooms and not even, touch them. When they're showing the like 3 mushrooms circling around you, it doesn't look like they get the boost from them in this one. But yet, if they hit bananas or something that's green shells that are around you, they'll actually get damage from that. So it's like the offensive things they kind of keep for yourself, but yet the defensive ones or the tactical ones that will actually blow somebody up will actually hurt them if they run into them. I've kind of just noticed that just watching the film here. But I love the mushroom.
Yeah, the mega mushroom is great. I know like with the feather there was a bit of confusion, but like he just jumped a red shell. Mm-hmm. Like that's going to be such a great, like you're passing that red shell off to the person in front of you. And I know there's been questions, people have been wondering like, well, what's with the charge jump versus the feather? The feather is a much higher jump. The charge jump is kind of a like a hop more or less, whereas like the feather is like you're full on jumping and flipping in the air. And can
you go back? Sorry, Josh. Can you go back in the footage a little bit to where it was showing with Kamek transforming everyone? It looked like, I just realized, do the Goombas, like if you get close to them, they know? It looked like it did an exclamation point and the Goomba started running after a racer, which is a really cool mechanic if I saw that correctly.
It happens. I can't remember the creature's name, but they've got the horns on their head and they're kind of the bully. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Yeah.
We saw that
right here,
maybe at the first.
So cool. I love it.
Yeah, so they get triggered. I think that's part of the reason a lot of us anticipated like some kind of a story or like having to take on enemies, because like we're seeing relatively large enemies in the game getting that exclamation point and being essentially triggered. So but it'll add another element to the rate. I mean, just like there's cars, but it also, like you hit a car, sometimes it just pushes you up on 2 wheels. Mm-hmm. It doesn't like completely wipe you out. So I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of balancing, right? I mean, you've done it, right? Stash, like does the game feel like like, because it doesn't look like mushrooms take you quite as far. The gold mushroom didn't look like it was like quite as insane as it has been in like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because like I think they want to keep people relatively bunched together as much as possible. Because the strategy in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, depending on the track, it's either a runner or a bagging track, and there's other variations of this as well. But the runners, you want to be out front as far as you can and just stay out front. And then the bagging tracks, you want to be at the back and get the best items, and then, you know, middle of the second lap or whatever, try to make your way all the way to first. And so Nintendo has basically shown us they do not like those aspects of Mario Kart by trying to remove them.
Yeah.
And so this seems like
Makes
it's
me
going to be
happy.
far more balanced.
That's one thing I mentioned in my video too, is that specifically I talked about the balancing and how great it feels. Did he just eat chili cheese Fritos?
He did, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah. So the balancing in the game felt so good. Just it felt so on point. I think I even compared it to Sakurai with Smash Brothers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like it felt, to me, that's the highest honor, right? For game balancing is what Sakurai has done with all those characters in Smash. And this is what Mario Kart felt like as a whole. Just racing. Everything just felt so balanced from a competitive standpoint, which I really like, because that's one thing I don't like about Mario Kart is that if you're a really good racer, right? It feels like sometimes you get the short end of the stick, right? Like you get rewarded for racing bad and getting good items, and then you can use the good items strategically to pull ahead of everyone at the end. And you can do that on a regular basis sometimes, depending on who you're playing against. And I didn't appreciate that because, you know, I'm out here working my ass off, right? You know what I mean? I'm power sliding all over the course. I'm hitting all the corners tight. I'm managing my items right. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to win this race. And then you got someone back there who's playing terribly, but they're getting bullet bills left and right. They're getting lightning bolts. They're getting blue shells. Before you know it, they hand them the trophy. They get the participation trophy turns into the actual trophy. No, for real. So to me, that was a big deal to me. So to me, that was a big takeaway when I played this. Is like, this feels balanced to the point that, hey, y'all seem to be taking this more seriously. I might want to throw down more competitively now because I may not have to deal with that horse shit that I don't like.
Yeah.
So
You don't
there's
love
the answer
bagging?
to that.
You don't love bagging?
No.
Yeah. And I mean, they
Absolutely
tried to do away with it by like not letting you get like people would literally sit on the items until they got the ones they wanted.
Yeah.
Right. If you could get a shock and then a bullet, that was like the ideal situation. You got your 10 coins, your top speed, you hit that shock and then your bullet. And when you like Mario Kart goes deep, you guys, like there's bullet extensions. So depending on where you hit it in the track, the further the bullet will take you, but you have to learn where those are too. So I'm so curious on how deep this I'm glad to see Bird is back. I'm curious on how far this, like how deep this game will really get.
So, okay. Let's go to a few of the super chats here and see what the people are bringing up to talk about, guys. You guys get your super chats in all throughout this stream if you guys want. It's kind of a little bit of a different show because you guys can help drive the conversation on what you want us to talk about. I'm just going to throw this one up to get it out of the way because this is a every stream occurrence about bringing back NFL Blitz and NBA Jam. Like, just completely unrelated. But, you know.
But related for sure. Because it's every time.
It's every time. It's a tradition now. And Fuzzy Pickles coming up as well. Thank you so much, Joey Pitts. Joey Pitts has said, I am disappointed I didn't see Diddy Kong. I'm thinking with Bonanza around the corner. My prediction now, they're going to hype up with a Kong World DLC. That would be sick.
I do think we get Donkey Kong. some sort of Donkey Kong cross promotion.
I was gonna say we
Or
have
Bonanza.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, possibly
Yeah.
with characters, maybe with carts, something like that. To me, makes a lot of sense. Same goes for the movie. Again, like this game should be the driver for all the IP to cross pollinate, cross promote. That's why they want it in everyone's hands. That's why it's a launch title for the first time ever. That's why it's a possible bundle pack-in title for $30 cheaper. They want that game in your hands because that's also a marketing tool. That's advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to buy a Mercedes, you know.
Imagine if they added a road rage mode, like from Burnout.
Yes.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
That would be sick. I think I do you guys think there's modes they haven't announced yet?
I would not be surprised.
I hope so. I really like, especially with like battle mode, and you know, it does seem like there's stuff missing. So I hope, and I hope, like, I kind of see where you're. I think I know where you're heading too, where it's like not just the standard modes that we're used to, but even some different modes as well. Like, it might be kind of cool to do time trials in Knockout Tour, where you're doing like you're picking a run, and then just doing those however many, like 5 different tracks or whatever it may be, as another way of doing time trials.
I think they have a long-term content timeline for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will include future game modes that we haven't seen yet, and then we might not see for 2 years.
Yeah.
Again, this is good. This is going to be supported for the entire course of the console. So there's going to be tons of stuff that we get.
I just really want a Beyond Thunderdome arena for battle mode.
There we go.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So Eric and I will pause on the screen. There's some interesting stuff on here. Obviously, we're seeing the badges that we were talking about earlier, right there by the names, multiplayer. Think that's pretty interesting. We also see some names of obviously some of the characters that they haven't really shown off or announced yet as new. Like the crab is called the Sidestepper.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, there was the pair of Biddy Bud, Wiggler. You can play as Lakitu. Charge and Chuck's one you can play as. So pretty cool.
Who's Jeff? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
right.
Who the hell is Jeff? Where did he go from?
My name's Jeff.
Also, there was this interesting thing I just noticed as it goes forward here. It has you like racing while you wait for your friends.
I did that in the game when we played.
Waiting for players to join, and you're just sitting there racing around.
So is this area, is this a lobby? Because it is part of the map, but is it a lobby space? Because when they did the trailer, like, oh, this looks like free roam, but this is actually where you wait for your friends. Is it like a separate lobby?
It felt like free roam.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, you just drive around while you wait for like when we played Knockout Tour mode, I was told I can just drive around and go explore, see if I find anything while I wait. So for all I know, I could have found a coin while I'm waiting, while I'm just hanging out.
Sure.
But can you drive from that area? Can you just drive out of it seamlessly, or is there like a loading screen that separates you from the rest of the world?
No, you can drive out of it.
Okay.
In fact, I did drive to a different area, and then some text came up telling me, like right in the middle of the screen, the new location. Just like when you play a game and you reach a new town.
Cool.
And I was like, this is really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you think Nintendo goes meta and puts a tax evasion Yoshi in?
Oh my God. Tax evasion. Yeah. That would be funny if they have that costume. So Taker 610 came in here and brought up something. He said, wasn't Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 60? And the 48 DLC tracks $24.99. It means millions of people paid $85 to own Deluxe with the DLC. $5 more than Mario Kart World. I mean, the big thing there, though, is that's 96 tracks.
This is an open world.
The actual crazy thing, if you want to do the crazy math, if you actually were there when Mario Kart 8 launched, you spent $60 at launch on Wii U. Then you spent $25, I believe it was, for the DLC on Wii U. So now you're up to $85. And then, guess what? That system failed. So now you got to come over to Switch if you want to keep playing and spend another $60. So now you're up to $145. Then throw on $25 for the DLC, and now you're up to $170.
Yeah.
And that's if you were with Mario Kart from the very beginning, Mario Kart 8. So, and I'm not faulting Nintendo obviously for that, because they didn't obviously know Wii U was going to bomb or anything, and they also didn't know that there probably was no plans to do extra DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mm-hmm. They probably didn't know it was going to blow up like the way it did. So I think that we have to keep this all in context. Like, one of the things I saw today was like, hey, if there's only 29 or 32 tracks or whatever it is, like that's, dude, I paid $60 for 96. Well, no, you didn't pay $60 for 96. You had to get the DLC. But if you want to cut that in half, and say, yeah, you paid $60, sure. But that wasn't the original Mario Kart 8. You were playing the deluxe version of a game that already existed that had DLC added to it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not the beginning of Mario Kart 8's journey. So this is actually pretty par for the course for like a lot of courses. And if there's like 32, is that the most they've had at the very beginning of a Mario Kart?
I think so.
Or is that right around what they usually have? I feel like
what is it? It's usually four cups at 4, and then so you're looking at 32 typically. Like typically, I want to say from like Wii up was probably 32, like maybe DS up, because you'd have like retro tracks and then the main track, the new tracks.
Sure. So this is pretty much right in line with what it's always been, which I know some people say, well, it should be more. Okay, we're not going back to the price conversation. But
the others didn't have a massive interconnected world that you could freely roam and travel and explore and discover secrets and do challenges and the other ones didn't start with 50 playable racers,
and 24 racers in general per race, and they also didn't have knockout tour, and then you can talk about the other modes they might have had, but technically what we're trying to say is it is technically more overall content at launch of Mario Kart, just from what we know, than any other Mario Kart, for whatever that's worth to people, obviously. Now, this one was interesting from Girthquake. He said, an open world should put an emphasis on movement, and this game does that. Well, I don't know how it could do. What else do you do in a Mario Kart? You move. like that's all you do. You're moving a car around. I know some people had dreamed that, maybe in that open world we could like get out of our car. I'm like, well, why would you even want to do that?
Yeah, right.
There's nothing going on. You're not about to get in open combat with these dinos walking around and stuff. Like this isn't a. They didn't put Mario Odyssey in the game.
No. They put Smash Brothers into the game. You get out in one kingdom and you start fighting each other.
Oh my god,
that's great.
So it's 2 games in one. So take that $80 and shove it.
And hey, just because we present all sides of the coin, regardless of the fact that I'm kind of done with the negativity around Switch 2. Chris Gonzalez has come in and said, the game's not worth $80. Free roam was empty and looks like the normal progression of a game. The normal progression of a game, like the next.
I'm kind of confused on that.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone ever thought did it. Like, okay, N64, Josh, you're obviously more in tune with Mario Kart stuff. Was there ever a thought before it was ever hinted that there would be like a free roam open world Mario Kart? Was that like even a thought?
No, not to me. I mean, I have done a handful of videos where I would drive the tracks backwards and just look. I just called it Mario Kart in reverse. But the reason I would do it is to look at everything that's added to these worlds. Like you don't really realize when you're racing all the time, like all of the fine little details. Like Mario Kart Stadium, you can see that the pit area has Toads working on carts. You can see that like Peach and Bowser and Luigi have all shown up in semi trucks and their carts are down. Like those are down in like a little pit area. But you know, so I've had those thoughts where it's like, man, it would be really cool to be able to go anywhere and not like just to see all the stuff that they've added. And so that's really what has me excited about this one is like now we can, if you see it, you can go to it. Like they're Mario Kart meet Breath of the Wild, you know, like if you can see it, you can go to it. And so is it something I really wanted or needed? No, but if these missions do have some like decent carrots on the stick, I'm excited to go see. Like I think they were I just wish the messaging was better, but I think they were hinting at stuff like the Mario Kart, you know, circuit, super racing, showing all the classic characters. I think that's kind of stuff that you're like, where's this at? I want to go find this. You know, and I've already seen, like I've said earlier, life will find a way. I'm already seeing people in the community talking about like playing hide and seek with their friends. and in the big open world, right? So like there's like we're gonna find ways to make this fun, but I think I think it's the messaging. You know, as I talk about it now and like being able to explore this open world, the water looks crazy cool, and seeing that what's going to be in the water and in those areas.
We love water on this podcast.
Everybody loves water. Go back to the N64 days, like, you know, we love water.
The new 3D Mario water.
Yeah, right.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I think there's so much of trying to like even with all of Bill Trinnan's comments. It's like he talked about like, oh no, there's still traditional three lap Grand Prix. Like, well, we didn't see that. Is that a mode that is going to be there that wasn't there? Like that like, and maybe they're hiding so much in this game that it is about the word of mouth later. You know, so it's one of those things. Like today's direct felt like it was for people that have never played Mario Kart before, and. That's what everything has kind of felt like when it comes to this game. And those of us that are like chomping at the bit, like, you know, ready to find out what we're going to sink our teeth into, we're still kind of scratching our heads a bit.
And as we say that, they put all these little Easter eggs in there that only people who played Mario Kart are going to even get the references.
Do you think they did that because Easter's on Sunday?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
No, but I Josh, I love that idea of hide and seek. That would be actually a really awesome battle mode type of thing where you just hide and seek. That sounds awesome.
Bro, I was speculating before the direct that there was going to be a mode where we would like potentially fight a big Bowser, all 24 of us, like in that kaiju space, like a kaiju Bowser. Yeah, like he's walking around like when they added Godzilla to Fortnite, you know?
Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, or you know, the imposter Bowser from Kaboom Squad or whatever, like
brand new, never before seen, unveiled enemy.
I agree with Josh. I think community is going to come up. Hold on, what was that? Sorry, guys. I think the community is going to come up with a lot of really cool ideas in this free roam and kind of create their own stories and fun moments. And, you know, I listened to your guys' live stream reaction while I was working this morning to Mario Kart. And Nate, you said something that like I got such strong vibes of from this game. That was such a great point. You mentioned community, like just the community for Mario Kart World, just this whole, like the whole social aspect, the knockout, the free roam, you know, even the new functions built in with the voice chat and the camera. Like there's just so much great stuff here for building a community, whether it's with friends or whether it's with people online with different online communities who are passionate about Mario Kart. Like, I see the community going wild with this game, and I see people like doing events and like celebrations, like, hey, you know, let's do a huge, you know, 24-player Mario Kart meetup in the free roam and whatever, you know, creating these fun moments. I see a lot of that happening and a lot of fun content to come from people online once this game comes out as well.
I thought about that too, especially after being on the podcast earlier this week with Josh. I thought about the same thing with the community aspect. And it's like, this is literally what you would want. You can like hang out and meet
Yeah.
up with people. And the camera is going to be interesting to see how that works and plays, and if the performance maintains with the camera use, that could be fun as well. It seems like
Yeah.
Nintendo's really interested though in actually using that camera
Yeah.
in more than just
Dude,
one game.
the photo ops are going to be sick. Like, dude, we got to get a Nintenbyte podcast where we meet up in the free roam and get like a 6 snapshot of all of our racers.
Bro, you're giving me 2020 vibes where we had 8 people on my island and all 8 of us were trying to jump off the dock at the same time, and we were all in Discord. We're all saying jump, but the lag would not allow us. It was just like dominoes, just like one after the other. We could not.
That's hilarious.
We could not do it, but that was actually quite a bit of fun. Just hanging out and doing different photo ops. And now the photo stuff's so much better too, right? It just shoots straight to your app, and then you can upload it to wherever you want.
You know what? You know what's interesting? There's a couple of things we haven't touched upon yet. Like something I noticed, and I probably should have noticed this in the footage we've seen so far, but I hadn't. Is those moments you can take over like the big vehicles, the semi and the boat, and they tease the helicopter.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool. You can run over and like destroy the environment.
Mhm.
Like part of the environment is just literally destructible. And I watched like the semi running over the light post, which we saw earlier. Someone used the feather item to hop up and get up on the light post and get some boosts off of it. And I'm just like, dude, the track literally gets altered. If you just want to be a mad lad, no, I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to take shit out. Like that's pretty badass. I gotta say, like they've never had like that level of destruction in a Mario Kart game where they literally could just alter the course like that. It's pretty cool.
I couldn't help but immediately when I saw that, the first thing that came to mind was like, that looks like Blast Corps. Literally. Like that is really cool, man. I love that game, and it just totally reminded me of that. So yeah, there's so many layers to this.
One thing I want to ask, and I'm going to ask the pro down there, Josh, about this. What do you think of that rewind feature?
Oh, the Forza feature.
Yeah.
So as soon as I see that blue shell, I'm just hitting rewind. You guys can have it.
Well, it says only a single player.
I know. I'm just screwing around. But there have been moments like let's say you want to practice wave glider in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So you go to Peach's Castle, right, or Royal Raceway. I'm sorry, and then there's going to be that one jump with the glider, and you got to get almost all the way to the end of the track, and then you have to go all the way back around again to be able to like hit rewind in time trials. I'm assuming it'll work, and really rework that line over and over again until you get it nailed. That's gonna be huge for trying to get the best time. And I know I've talked about time trials a lot. Like I'm hoping this will be the first Mario Kart game that like I want to shoot for some of those leaderboards and like really attempt this. And I'm hoping it's going to be a relatively like even playing field, and it won't be all tied to like one specific cart that everybody uses and that kind of stuff. But so that's what the rewind feature for me, that's where it will be used the most, right? Like, because they showed that guy, that baby Mario, like not hitting the jump, like he hit it too soon, and then just being able to rework that again, because you never know, depending on the layout of the track, to be able to hit some charge jump or hit the side of the wall, and just trying that over and over again. And then if it finally worked, like it also makes for fun streaming, right? When you're trying something over and over again, then you finally nail it and chat goes wild. Like it's a blast. So I foresee it being a very, very useful tool.
Nice. So what I wanted to ask is, like, for me, who doesn't really like play competitive, I'm not really going to care that much about like trying to be perfect. I think doing a live race and fucking up is like part of the fun. For me, like, oh, I fucked up, I didn't get it. Ah, shit, whatever. How am I going to catch up to everyone else? But But yeah, no, I was gonna say, because that seems like a feature that's more for really trying to perfect your runs, for like pro players is what it really felt like to me. I think it's cool that it's in the game. And other games have obviously had it, so it'll just make obviously practicing a lot easier.
One thing that I really kind of actually wish they would have put in here was like a replay where you hit a button and it takes like the last, records the last 10 seconds and then like the next 10 seconds. So you can like, if something really crazy happened, you can save the replay of it and show your friends like, hey, look at this, look what I just did. Or, this, I was in first and then somehow, I got hit by this stupid thing here and this happened to me. I think that would have been a cool feature for them to add too.
Yeah.
Well, if Mario Kart, like, we don't know for sure, I guess, if Mario Kart TV is back based on what we've seen, but like, that's kind of what happened. You could save your 6 favorite races in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and then go into Mario Kart TV, and it shows like your last, I want to say 12 races. So you could technically have like up to 18 races that you could go back and, what was really cool about it is you can like go into slow motion and kind of do some cool edits just while you're racing. You could tell it to pick like certain highlights and that kind of stuff. So hopefully like although they haven't shown us that aspect, they do seem to be showing us that like there's a lot of camera work that can be done here. And there's a lot of like going off a jump and then hitting that camera. And then, so are you doing that mid race, or are you going to have some kind of replay thing like you're talking about where then you can go in? And I kind of think that's going to be how it goes. Like, and if that's the case, even on Switch, you could probably hold down the share button or whatever, the capture button, grab that 30-second clip while even manipulating your camera a bit or having it being, sometimes they'll just move the cameras for you. So it may end up being something that you can do just with the hardware.
All right. Grab a couple more of these super chats. Andrew Brightwell dropped the 20. I believe over on Stash's channel saying, great coverage, no question. You answered them all.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you again. Very, very generous. Appreciate it, man.
Wink to Vandal 7. When do you think Rainbow Road will be revealed? So obviously they teased it. They did the tease. One thing I wanted, do you guys think it's going to be just its own track, or do you think there's going to be a whole set of courses, like a full 4-pack for it?
I hope it's the 4-pack. I just think that would be so cool. It would just be so cool.
4 Rainbow Road tracks?
Well, normally when Rainbow Road comes and you unlock it unlocks a cup that ends with Rainbow Road. So I'm like, that's what I'm thinking of
Rainbow Roads,
because I know this game's different in how they set it up, but they still have cups.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you have
do
to beat
a rainbow cup,
cups, could there be a cup that has the Rainbow Road, and that's what you unlock?
They could do 2
unknown courses instead of just.
They could do 2 brand new Rainbow Roads, and then reimagine 2, and have the 4 courses. It would be sick, and it's like you're basically doing a Mario Kart World trek across the galaxy.
What would be super sick is if they were stacked. And so maybe you take a pipe all the way to the first one, but the second one you end by doing a long jump that's where you start the next race. And then, and then when you fall off the track, you can see the track that you're going to be going to next, but you can't get to it quite yet. Like, I would absolutely love that.
Just kind of like a one long continuous Rainbow Road that just kind of blends from one. It just goes through all of them and just kind of blends from one to the next to the next to the next to the next. That'd be
cool.
That would.
And they could do like Milky Way type stuff where you're like jet skiing essentially in space.
Love it.
Cool. Yeah. I don't think we end up with just one Rainbow Road. So we might get a cup. That would be really cool. But if it's just this one Rainbow Road, I don't think that's it, right? Well, I think there will be more Rainbow Roads. I mean, heck, you could take a Rainbow Road, hypothetically, to the next part of the world. The other side of the world map. That could literally lead you to it. What's the Rainbow Road called in, what's it called? The Thor movies? What is it again?
Oh,
The Rainbow Bridge?
God damn it, no.
I don't know.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat's gonna know it. Like,
Yeah, it's the road that transports you though to
yeah.
other worlds. I mean, it makes sense
Bitfrost.
that you would. Yeah, it
Thank
makes
you.
sense that
Thank
you
you.
would take that. That you take that road to where the next DLC is, right?
Bifrost, yep.
I'm really hoping that, let's say that this is the Mario world, right? The Mario Kart world. And then if there's another world, if it's not continents that are added, I hope they do something with warp pipes where you can hit a warp pipe and end up at like if you're in Knockout Tour, you don't have to just follow the path, but like you could literally have warp pipes between any of the tracks you want, so that once you hit that finish line, boom, you're on that next. You're on that next.
That'd
track.
be cool. Even warp pipes hidden throughout the free realm that just can quickly teleport you to different parts of the world would be really cool. Find little shortcuts.
Yeah. Charles Trudell came in and was like, by June 18th, word of mouth will show all these missions. I mean, look, if the missions are really cool, like if they are really cool and there's a lot of really unique ones, I do think that would be one of the biggest talking points after release if they're really cool. But it's a pretty big if. But it's because they don't like that was the one critique that consistently has come up all night is like, there's a lot in this game, and it looks like the biggest Mario Kart game ever. Also, there's so much we don't know even about the things they told us. And it's like, why are you hiding so much of it? Like when you said there's hundreds of these missions, you could have showed us more than one.
So that's a question I have, right? Do you guys think they're holding back because there's so much amazing stuff that they want us to see, or is it one of those scenarios where the marketing team messed up and they didn't quite show what they like? I feel like Mario Kart is a game they never stop advertising, right? I'm currently wearing my Rainbow Road Survivor shirt right now, and like literally was out looking for Mario Kart t-shirts today. You see Mario Kart almost everywhere you go. And so is this going to be one of those cases where it's like by the time word of mouth hits, everybody's just losing their mind because of how much is here? Or have we seen the majority of it and that's kind of it? Like, what do you guys think?
Stash, what do you think here?
I think there is so much to still see. I think we've seen 1%. Honestly, I think this game is going to be massive. As far as the missions, yeah, there's hundreds. They said there's hundreds of missions. We don't know what all the coins are going to be for. We don't know how that currency is going to be used, what we're going to turn it in for, what kind of unlockables there will be. I think we've just seen a very small percentage, though, in reality of this game, which is good. Because I don't want them to show me. Nobody, like, I don't want that. We don't come from that time. We come from a time where we want to go out and experience these games and find all these things for ourselves. I don't want no player's guide. GameStop used to always try and sell me a player's guide. Get that shit out of here. I don't want that. I want to find it for myself. That's the enjoyment. That's the joy, is exploring. And I'm glad they're not telling us all this stuff, because it's like, this is how I look at it. I've talked about this before. If I see a movie trailer, I only need to see the first trailer. Okay? I see the first one. I say, okay, I want to see it. Then they release, trailer 2, trailer 3, final trailer before the movie. I don't want to see any of that. I'm already sold. I'm in, dude. I'm in. I don't want to see all these big moments in the movie that you're putting in the trailer to try and sell people on going to the movies to see it. Those are the things I want to experience in the theater, and the same goes for video games. I only want to see so much because I want to experience this for myself.
Yeah, and Girthquake in the chat mentions that, hey, mission modes before have had boss fights. So the fact that they're calling this missions, if there's surprise like boss fights, that would go absolutely nuts if that's not even revealed until people play it. Like that would go so hard on the internet that stayed hidden all the way until launch day.
I also think there's an interesting point to make. Nintendo's done this before. Obviously I have no idea if there's going to be more modes and features that we don't know about yet. I think there's a strong possibility, but they've done this before. Do you guys remember how Tears of the Kingdom was marketed as opposed to Breath of the Wild? They weren't showing anything for a long time. And you know what was an amazing part of that game that could have been a huge push in the marketing, and they pretty much ignored it, was the depths. Incredible. It's 1-to-1 size of the above world map. It's literally the same size with tons of content, tons of gameplay, tons of secrets and things to discover. There's a dungeon down there, and they didn't say a peep about it. Yes.
So it's a good point.
So Tears of the Kingdom, and that's just one example from Tears. Yeah, they had it was a very interesting campaign, and a lot of people had those same things. Like, well, is there more? I feel like they're not showing enough. Is there actually going to be more? And there was a hell of a lot more in that game. So there's definitely a precedent for that with Nintendo. I don't necessarily know that. Like, obviously, I think Tears of the Kingdom could get away with it easily. Breath of the Wild was so it was so groundbreaking for the series, and the game was so beloved. Mario Kart. It's an easy sell. It's their biggest game that they have, but at the same time, you're also trying to sell a brand new console. This is the launch title. So you'd think that you'd want to generate as much hype as possible around this title. So it's an interesting one, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers and feeling like, you know what, there's probably more beneath the surface than what we've seen.
Sure. Interesting point brought up in a super chat from Girthquake said parkour in an open world game is something I've only dreamed of. It's just surprised that Mario Kart's the one to give it to me.
Right?
Right. Mirror's Edge. Got to try some Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, get some Mirror's Edge action, but it's a Mario Kart, man. It is kind of wild that, like, out of all the conversations that I remember having about what they could do in a new Mario Kart game, I don't ever remember parkour being even an idea that I recall anyone even like imagining them. Oh yeah, we're gonna grind rails and grind walls. Like it is kind of interesting that I just don't remember that conversation ever happening. Like it's just an idea we weren't even thinking as a possibility for Mario Kart, and now it's like fundamental to this entire game.
Yeah,
like so. Like I think one of the things about Mario Kart World to me is, the more I watch of it, the crazier and crazier it looks because it doesn't look like any Mario Kart I've ever played. Like the gameplay looks so refreshed, and that to me is maybe the most exciting part. Like, yeah, the courses look great. Yeah, there's always that worry about the straightness of the roads in between the courses, but look, they must be pretty confident. Since they're making us do it in Grand Prix, they must be pretty confident that there's something about it we don't know. Because to be honest, we haven't seen them go from one course to the next fully. They keep cutting it off. Why are they cutting it off? Why do they keep cutting it? What's going on? There's something going on.
Yep.
And again, this goes to the whole thing. They keep cutting everything. Like they give you just a tease and then they pull back. And I get it because they really probably want us to discover things on our own. But it just feels like everything they've shown, they are intentionally hiding things in every single aspect of the game. But the one thing that keeps coming through is this parkour stuff. I think fundamentally just changes your entire mindset about how you play Mario Kart. Like you're going to be playing it traditionally and everything's going fine. Next thing you know, you're going to see your buddy fly up, and next thing you know, he's on a wall next to you. He jumps over. Now he's grinding on a rail next to you. And then all of a sudden he's like, next thing you know, he's 5 places ahead of you because he got all these speed boost bonuses. And you're just going to be sitting there like, huh? And then how do the items work? How do they hit you when you're up there doing all this crazy tricks and shit? Does that help you dodge it? Or do the items now have different abilities where they fly through the air at you? And is there an extra risk to doing some of that stuff?
Good question. Like could the blue shell hit you if you're grinding on the wall?
Yeah. And then can you, if you are grinding on the wall and it comes above you to slam down, if you jump off the wall, can that be a dodge? Can
Right.
you time a dodge off of that?
Yeah, I'm
I
always
would say
wondering.
the possibility is very real with the feather. I think it's happening. And what I love the most about what you just said is that I can go grind time trials, like I've said throughout the show tonight, and then not be able to use those same lines because there's better lines when I have access to the feather to get higher up on the walls to be able to. It changes everything, and to be able to, like they showed like that. I put out that clip today saying I was of Birdo saying I'm stoked about time trials, and the first comment besides "Hey Gramps" was there's not going to be a feather in time trials, right? And so you're going to have to view the track's going to have to be viewed differently whether you're playing, and that's a first for Mario Kart, where you're like your best line in time trials is irrelevant on some of these tracks or some of these sections of track, because if you have access to better items, you can get a faster time. It's actually kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, like, is there any effects like when you get like the mega mushroom when you get larger? Does that give you a different effect while you're grinding that puts you in a different positioning and stuff to change your lines? I think there's just a lot of really neat things going on with this that people aren't considering yet because it's just not in our hands to play around with. It's going to make it really, really fun and really unique. And look, it's going to get crazy. Just 24 racers alone. I was already like flabbergasted when they teased that in the initial reveal. I'm like, there's 24 racers. Oh, holy shit. Oh, that looks so fun. Oh,
Nate, you mentioned like, will it be different when you have the super mushroom and you're all huge grinding? And I immediately thought of like, oh my gosh, like the parkour when they bounce from like the narrow kind of like hallway, just crushing racers that are on the walls already and stuff. Just smash.
Laughing the whole time. I got you, mother.
Yep.
Oh man. There was another grinding comment here from Joey Pitts who just super chatted and grinding to the game. We better get Tony Hawk DLC.
Yes.
Oh man, that would be great. So one thing we mentioned before how we're not sure if those 200cc, although it looks like it's built for it. There was a still shot in there when they were collecting their custom ones, where when we went to 150cc, the arrow wasn't grayed out on the right. Looking like you might be able to go over to slide. Of course, it could just go around in a big circle. Right. Who knows? But traditionally, it grays out when you get to the end, and then you got to go back. So could be 200cc. I've seen people even suggest, did they go crazy at a 300?
That's what I've been speculating. 500.
Like, woof. And that would make those straightaways suddenly a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
You can hit that 300, that 500, go nuts.
This game feels perfect for it too. Like that's the thing.
Dude, and imagine the grinding and everything with it. Oh my God. You're gonna be
so fast. Yeah.
Flying. Oh man. Oh, you're gonna discover parts of the course you didn't even know you could get to in Grand Prix. Let me tell you. So this is an interesting one just to get clarified. So Taker 610 said 1080p 120 hertz has been confirmed for Mario Kart World, right? So I've seen some people at the hands-on event bring up 120 FPS mode, but Nintendo hasn't officially said anything. Every time people ask Nintendo, they keep saying, 60 FPS. Possibly if you look at when they did the 4-player split screen, it looks like it might even be 30 FPS in that mode if it's 4-player split screen. Which people joked around, hey, if you add 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30, it's 120 FPS on your screen at once. That's not really how that works, guys. So 4-player split screen might be a little bit worse experience than just like 2-player split screen, maybe. Again, we watched it through a YouTube video. Yeah, you got to see it in person first to really know. That being said, I don't know that there's going to be 120 FPS mode. And I think because just trying to keep the gameplay consistent throughout, since it would be supported in multiplayer situations. I kind of feel like there won't be one, and if there was, I feel like Nintendo would just blatantly say, like, they came right out and blatantly said for Metroid Prime 4 there's 1080p 120 hertz mode, 120 FPS mode. I feel like it would be like in our face. It's the launch game, and now we just had a dedicated direct, and that's still not said.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like there's just some miscommunication going on at the Switch 2 experience, which we know was happening, some miscommunications, because it happened with Cyberpunk. There was conflicting stories from the representatives of Cyberpunk that, oh, they made this build in 7 weeks, or, oh, this build is 7 weeks old, and we've actually been working on it a lot longer than that. There was all that miscommunication with that. So we know that, like, and this happens. There's a bunch of people working this event. They're told something, they misremember it. So when they're sharing the information, it gets all misconstrued. Some of these people that are working there are just temporary employees. They maybe didn't fully memorize the docket they were given for the event. So it's possible that there's just a miscommunication. That the weird thing is, somebody said in one of their videos, I'm playing 120 FPS right now, which you can't see on YouTube. It doesn't support 120. And I'm like, is this one of those people that's never played 120 FPS game before? So, like, they don't know that this actually isn't 120 FPS. Like, I've played a lot of games in high frame rates because I PC game for a long time. I've been playing at more than 60 FPS for a long time. So it's interesting that miscommunication seems to be out there. Although then again, seems to be a theme. People act like I get paid by Nintendo, yet I keep talking about them miscommunicating so much. I just called them out yesterday for something that, was a big miscommunication on the Nintendo Today app, which, credit to them, they did fix, 14 hours later. But it's like, yeah, they're paying me all right. Just because, oh no, I'm still gonna buy Mario Kart, I'm still buying a Switch 2, and I'm still gonna have fun. It's okay to have fun sometimes. Everything in life doesn't always go the way you want, but it's too short not to have fun, man. Like, even this whole podcast, I'm just like smiling. I'm like, This is great. I'll just sit back and listen to you guys geek out about Mario Kart. This is sick. Speaking of geeking out, the Birdman. What excites you the most about this game? I need this in my life. I need you to give this positivity to me.
Oh man. Honestly, the two things that excite me the most is Knockout Tour. I'm really excited for that. It's something that, I was predicting and kind of praying for this mode over a year ago. So to see that come into fruition is super exciting. The second one is a blend of free roam and the community side. Like, I'm like, dude, I've met this awesome group of Nintendo content creators, and like, I'm going to be able to experience this game online with built-in voice chat finally on a Nintendo console and hang out with you guys and shit. So like, that side of it and making those memories, like that's what it's all going to be about.
Yeah, the only question we'll have is, are we using game chat or Discord? Do we want 15 FPS or do we want?
I guess it depends on the night. I think we all need the webcams if we do Beerio Kart,
Oh,
we're all doing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
We should do a podcast Beerio Kart.
That would be cool.
You have to finish your beer before the third lap. You could decide to chug it right before you hit the pedal to the metal. You could take little breaks throughout the match. We'll work out the rules.
Just so Eric's got tortured, he can have his Mountain Dew Dr. Cherry.
There you go.
Dr. McGillicuddy's with some.
That sounds fun. I'm all about the chugging the beer aspect.
I cannot.
You can chug a beer, but you hate it.
Fucking
you hate it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna
do chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And then I'll drop a little beer in it so it starts to curdle a little bit for you.
Or no, Eric, you should do spicy Kart because you handle the spice really well.
You are the spice lord.
Spicy Kart.
Create a spicy drink. Spicy drink.
We all drink. You eat, I don't know, ghost peppers.
Fair enough.
That would be great. Is this supposed to be spicy?
Yeah, right.
Josh, you're more than welcome to join the
Buddy, I got.
Just saying.
You didn't even see that I unlocked the scorpion for you.
Yeah, right. You just toss the scorpion in there.
Just
Yeah.
casually toss a scorpion pepper in.
Yeah.
Mickey, a non-alcoholic Bloody Mary. The
Yeah,
drop the
right.
scorpion. He's not looking. Quick, guys! I'm shaving the scorpion.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
He'd handle it like
Oh,
a
yeah.
champ. He'd be all right. It's not like it's something we've never done before.
Not the first time.
I've never done that, but we have
Yeah.
had scorpion pepper.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Mhm.
Carolina Reapers, all that stuff.
I've straight up eaten, some of the hottest peppers, and it's just like, all right, yep, it was.
There's
fun,
a reason he's yeah, it's not good. It's like the
Yeah.
Diablo sauce at like Taco Bell. Look, it don't taste good.
It's not spicy.
It's nasty.
It just
It's not
tastes like
that.
shit, too.
It's not that bad. Like
Yeah.
spice wise, I will say this: it's like 400 or 500,000 Scoville. Yes, for a lot of people, that is extremely spicy. For Eric, it's just a gross tasting mustard.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
No.
a shit flavor, and
Yeah.
there's no heat. So what are we doing?
right.
That's to him, no heat.
Yes.
A gross mustard. I love it.
Oh man. We have a couple more chats coming in. I think this was from Stash's channel. I didn't double check. Cryptic comes in with a 5. It says Mario Kart World seems like the foundation of something special now. I definitely agree with that. Definitely it's a foundational game. 20 years from now. I just hope we all experience this on schedule with pre-orders and no delays.
That makes me think of a question. Just because they're saying that it seems like something, the foundation of something special. Do you think from here they start branding as Mario Kart World 2, Mario Kart World 3? Or do you think that this is just a special title? Do you think it gets kind of a rebrand that they build off of this? Because there is a lot of potential years down the road, entries down the road of expanding this kind of open world free roam style Mario Kart game.
Yeah. There's a lot of different directions they can go with that. It's open world.
Because I mean they've been doing those numbered entries for so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is world now.
This is world. This is a new thing. Do we get a world 2? What do you guys think? I know it's early to talk about it, but I'm curious.
No, we get universe.
Damn!
Ooh,
They're like, this next entry in Mario Kart series is out of this world. And then
Yeah.
it does the
brand new
logo.
rainbow roads that take us between galaxies.
Well, it's I look at this game as the sequel to Tour because it was the last, right? And after they added those games in, so it kind of like you've got Tour or Tour, depending on how you say the word. My community always gives me so much crap about it, and so like World kind of fits. The question I think everybody has is, what does World mean? Because we're seeing like the beginning, right? And being able to drive anywhere and have an open world Mario Kart, but like, what's it look like 8 years? What does it look like 8 years from now? Like the thing I want the most is the hype that the fighters from the Fighter Pass brought to Smash. I want like a yearly or a quarterly or every 6 months, some kind of DLC for this game. Hopefully free for at least the first year to 2 years. I want to preface that, like, that it's just because I know that, like, if they come out in 6 months and they're like, hey, buy this $20 DLC and now this game's $100 for all the content, I have a feeling the internet would
Yeah.
Nate's just thinking about the videos he'd have to make if this happened.
I'm not covering any negative news about it. I'm just going to be excited for the DLC.
There you go. I'm with you.
I already own it. And you know what? I'll just be like, you guys are all suckers. I got the bundle, and then I'm still paying less than the original game. This ain't a
There you
big deal.
go. There you go. But I do really hope we see that kind of stuff where the community just goes nuts. And so that's the future of this game has me very excited.
I was going to say, I think that Mario Kart World and Knockout Tour has something to do with WCW versus NWO
Versus
World
NWO.
Tour.
Let's go.
Yes.
That is
They're gonna
gnarly.
build in the
I never
knockout
thought of
mode
that.
somehow.
That is awesome.
Oh my god!
What if-
Oh,
The
Oh,
ultimate crossover.
Dash brings that in.
What if Nintendo,
Pedigree people give them the stunner?
there you go.
Yes.
What if Nintendo's just trolling us and this is the biggest kept secret ever? And when the game comes out, it's actually Mario Kart Worlds, and it's actually just multiple worlds, and they only everybody's like, oh, this is an $80 game, blah blah blah, and Nintendo's like, ha, gotcha, bitches.
Oh yeah, you beat the Grand Prix and unlocked Rainbow Road. What you didn't know is that
Worlds.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Road takes you to an entirely new world.
The splash screen pops up after you beat the whole thing, and it actually adds an S to the world, and it just unlocks more
Dude,
worlds.
you know what that would be like?
Crazy.
No,
Yeah.
you know what that is?
That's
That's the Link to the Past moment when you thought you beat the game and then all of a sudden it all turned into Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. You thought you beat the game and then this was never leaked ahead of time before
Yeah,
that
right.
game came out.
Yeah.
And then people were just like,
Wait,
the
what?
fuck? This game just got twice as big?
Yeah.
Just happened. That's one of those moments.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Well, and what you described is stuff that happens. It's been happening in Mario Kart potentially from the beginning. When you complete every course, it changes the title screen.
Yeah. Because
You
I know
know-
like, in 64 it enters reverse mode.
Well, that and then it's a completely different title screen.
Different title screen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like because I have people come into my chat while I'm letting the game run, and it'll be like Luigi Kart 8, and it's Luigi, and they're like, "Why is it saying Luigi Kart?" You know, or why do you have Link on your thing, or why do you have Bowser? Well, once you complete it, it's a they run through a bunch of different intros, so you might be onto something.
Yeah. Cryptic wanted to get in here on that the CC stuff. Dream of being F-Zero World 600 CC.
Plaid DC for those that
Yes.
Garth coming in here as well, saying, "Hey, I turned 21 5 days before Mario Kart World comes out. Man, it's also 5 days before Switch 2 comes out. That's the more important.
Nice.
It's the more important release. There is the Switch 2 itself. But my first time trying Burio Kart will be on the highway. I mean, hope not literally. On the
Yeah,
highway.
right,
I know you
right,
meant the
right.
virtual highway,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burio Kart is very fun. And if you don't know the rule, I mean, you can make any custom rules you want. But you can just type it into Google. There is like a standard set of rules that a lot of people use for it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, there's just
You
like
got to take breaks though. You do too many rounds, you're so bloated, and like the thought of
and if you ever do Smash the drinking
like,
game,
so what else?
do it the normal
please.
way. Like you die, you take a sip. Don't do it the way that me and my buddies did, where you die, you take a shot. Okay, that's
I've never done that.
That's for the super experienced. Okay,
Oh,
or someone who thinks they're never gonna die. I'm a pro.
drink
You know.
Wisconsinably big.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, me and my old roommate, dude, we used to go back and forth, just fucking do it. And the idea of the shots was, well, if you're we reversed it. Every KO was a shot. So you'd take the top player and try to bring them down to everyone's level by getting them drunk, or them getting themselves drunk by taking people out. It's great.
My go-to is to always chug once the race starts, because it's the beginning of the race. You get all the best items right away, and you get caught up instead of like building that momentum and then like stopping. Although some people are, I have a buddy who's really good at that, just really good at Mario Kart, and he'll like stop for like 10 seconds, do like a quick little chug, put it down, get going, and he always ends up in first again. I don't know how he does it, but
I do. So you're one of those strategies like, I'm going to wait for the good items and just take the chug. I'm going to get all the bullet bills. I'm going to have double bullet bills. We're set.
it takes the edge off from the beginning of the Grand Prix. So
Well, there you go.
Fuck it, I'm not gonna win anyways.
yeah,
Oh, man. Yeah.
Turn those assists on.
Burio Kart's a lot of fun. All right. Well, that is all of the super chats. Is there anything else that you guys want to touch on Mario Kart here? I mean, this is probably I can't imagine we're gonna have a full dedicated Mario Kart one after this. So So literally anything else we want to touch on with this game?
I just want to say I'm super hyped.
Yeah.
Like I am the thing that is like the dark cloud was even just talking with people in my chat today. It's not that they're like so angry about the price and all that stuff. In some of their cases, it's just they can't afford it right now. Like they're it's the FOMO that's really bothering them because the price of the console plus the price of the game is just out of their budget. It's not that they're so angry about all that. It's just not doable at the moment, you know? And so I'm totally empathetic of that. And that makes me it like like I'm at the point that I'm like, yo, I may set up like a super chat fund that literally is like, I'm just going to grow this until it get on the list and we'll help get you a Switch. Like just so that we can get more people playing in the community. Cause it's just like, that's where I've had the most fun has been with the community. And so I'm not looking forward to the chats where people are like, I can't race. I can't get it yet. You know, I'm not able to swing it, you know, and that's I mean, I get it. This is a luxury thing. It's not like it's a first world problem, right? But outside of that, like I'm just so stoked. Like the animations, the going on top of the water instead of under the water. Like I've always loved water games, Wave Race, Hydro Thunder. Not having to have those the gliders in your way anymore because they block a lot of the screen. Like I'm excited for that, and just. Really, this is not your standard Mario Kart game, and there's going to be so much to explore, so much to figure out. And I'm just talking about the lines that you're going to be taking in this game. Like, what is going to be the absolute best line for every game, whether it's Grand Prix and then time trials? Like that's so much fun for me. So much fun for me.
Totally.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Yeah, I mean. I said it at the beginning of the show. I've been playing since Super Mario Kart. I think this looks like the best Mario Kart game, bar none. The game looks incredible. It looks like the most dense and feature rich. Like, yeah, granted, there's currently more courses in 8. There's a few extra multiplayer modes, but like just from like a standard release of a Mario Kart, this is the most dense and feature rich. We're talking free roam, incredible community driven modes and gameplay. We got knockout, we got Grand Prix. We have a slew of unlockable costumes for the characters, hundreds of missions, and hitting coins, and the most interactive and layered and vertical maps we've ever had in the series, with the ability to grind and parkour and just the amount of depth in this game. I cannot wait for it. I know I'll probably have more hours in this game than any other game on Switch 2, so long as they don't go and do something psychotic with the next Zelda game, that is. Yeah, I just can't wait for it. And I want to echo what Josh said. I do empathize for people. I do understand for a lot of people are upset about the price, who are just like, how am I going to afford this? It does add up. Stuff's expensive. And inflation and just the cost of living, stagnant wages. There's a lot of reasons why you may not be able to pick up this game right away. And that's a bummer, because I know how we all get when, Switch 2 is about to drop and we're all in panic just to get our hands on the console, just to get it day one, as a frantic FOMO panic. People, willing to even go to scalpers just to have it day one. So I get it. Like, you don't want to miss out on the hype. And I do empathize. But, when it comes to value and what's there, I really do think it's not fair for people to say this game is not worth $80. It's definitely subjective. That's going to be in the eye of each individual. I could tell you right now, there's a handful of games that I've bought the deluxe version of. And they only come with a few extra things, maybe an extra armor set and a couple special accessories, and you're paying like $15-$20 more for
digital
that.
artwork
So
that you look at once.
digital artwork, or like, it's very minimal stuff that isn't going to enhance your play. longer than those initial startup hours where you're like, oh, cool, I got these cool items because I, did the upgrade. So those don't tend to get a lot of heat unless, of course, there's a lot of missing content for Prime. I know you want to say something.
All right, I was just thinking about something because you brought up obviously the $80 and the negative stuff. You know what might have made people shut up just for a brief moment? And this still could get announced. What if they used Mario Kart World to announce themes for Switch too?
Mm-hmm. Don't play with my heart, bro.
You could unlock a theme, and they announce that in like a future trailer, and everyone just like, oh shit, wait a second, Nintendo does something we want. Oh wait, what? People would like maybe stop talking about the price for just a brief moment to be like, wait a second, they actually did something we've been wanting them to do. Oh, they're listening. We can unlock themes in games. That would be sick.
Totally. I just want to finish up really quick. My big point that I was trying to make was that like we have these deluxe versions of so many games that are $10-$20 more in the $80 to $90 range. And in my opinion, Mario Kart World is 100 times more worth it than what you get for that steep increase to the standard price. That's just me though.
Sorry. Got a couple more super chats just to grab here quick. Taker 610 coming said 120 FPS being safe for the Switch 2 Pro edition. I could see them if there's a Pro with a little 120 update.
Yeah, I could see that too. Thanks for sending that in. And when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, I mean, that'd be a good upgrade right there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. This is actually interesting because it's technically incorrect, but it brings up a good point. This is a super chat from Girthquake says game share means you only need 6 people to own the game to get a 24-person race. Actually, they said you could do 8 with split screen on the 4 that you share with. So you end up having 8 per thing. So you only need 3 copies of the game to get an in-person 24 race going. But you got to have, 12 Switches? Something like that? And 3 Switch 2s? Trying to do the math. My math isn't mathing. But anyways, 8 per thing. That was one of the big things they announced today. I was like, wait a second, 8? You can do split screen off 1 cartridge?
So was that I thought that was just talking about wireless play. Like if you had 8 people with Switches in the room, because if you saw the little, if we're talking about the same thing, it says games and consoles not included, or something like that.
Hold on. Let me
back a little further.
I'm trying to find where it is in the damn direct. I have no idea where it was in the direct. I just find the screenshot with it. I have no clue. I have no clue where it even is in the direct. So I could be sifting through this thing all damn day. It's only 16 minutes long, but
you're right.
Maybe there's an official page for it. Game share, Mario Kart World, or maybe someone else got the screenshot.
What my assumption would be is if you had 4 Switches, 4 copies of the game, then you could share that with up to like 3 other consoles each. I think is how that would work.
Okay, let me see if there's a list of the game share thing here. Okay. Hey, Mario Kart with friends. I mean, it's literally in the direct. I just don't remember where in the direct it is. It's got to be in the community section towards the end.
Yeah, I believe it was more towards the end.
So,
was that play online with friends? No,
yes,
in that area.
It should be in that area.
Okay, so hold on. I'll go through this here and just skip through until I find it. So there's the camera. Okay. Okay, faces, 4-player split screen.
It's the last time you guys have had Teddy Grahams?
Teddy Grahams?
Yeah, dude.
When my kids were like 3.
Okay. When Super Mario Kart was new
1337.
1337.
Yeah, in that area.
All right. So yeah. So here's what I was saying. It says right here, and we can play it and hear the words too if you guys want. It says up to 8 players in wireless play. So I want to hear how they say it though, and the text is also hidden. It says additional games, systems, and/or accessories may be required in multiplayer mode. Comes systems and some accessories sold separately. Okay, that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Let's see what they say. Let's actually listen to it and see what they actually say about it. Unmute. Here we go.
The game also supports local wireless play.
Back a little bit.
Up to 8 players, with up to 2 players on each system, can race together this way.
I think if you go back just a little bit further, I think it says something about that too.
That's about the 4-player split screen.
Up to 4 players can race in split screen on the same system. The game also supports local wireless play. Up to 8 players, with up to 2 players on each system, can race together this way.
Okay. I guess that might just be
16 players?
And that's all Switch 2s. So it looks like
Well, it has to be all 6 Switch
yeah,
2s.
so it's all Switch. So this isn't game share. This is just wireless local play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, like, I've done this in the past with 8 Deluxe, where like we were trying to get everybody in the living room able to play. So it was like 2 people on the TV, two people set up one Switch on the kickstand, and then everybody else had a handheld one, and we were all trying to and we got it to work, but it was not the easiest thing, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
So
maybe it works better with a wireless play. So yeah, it looks like up to 8 players in wireless play, 2 per console, so 16 players, up to 8 Switch 2s. It seems to be what they're teasing because there's 8 Switch 2s on screen. So I mean that again that's cool for like LAN parties and stuff. But yeah, that's not the game share. The game share is more limited. But they did say there is game share. So that original comment probably is more right than mine. So 6 people can get 24 persons, maybe. I have to do some more digging in the game share.
The four person.
But I do appreciate like we're trying to correct, obviously not spread misinformation here and stuff like that. So I gotta be cleared up that the 8-player 16 thing that is for wireless play with 8 Switch up to 8 Switch 2s. Okay, cool.
Which I'm a little surprised it's not 24 because of like I'm assuming when the Mario Kart World Championships happen, there would be 24 players, but that means they're gonna have to do those online.
Or they could not be talking about it, but there could be a way that like because this is wireless play, so I assume these are the Switches communicating with each other.
Yeah.
But if you just plug into a local network, they might have local network play that can.
That's true.
That,
yeah, interesting. It was just the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw that this morning. I was like, how are they going to do local? How are they going to do only 16? Why not 24?
Yeah. Oh, look at this. A super chat just popped in here saying it's weird to me that people keep saying that game chat is locked behind a paywall. It's part of NSO, not its own sub, which comes with a slew of content and is a fair yearly sub.
But that is a definition of a paywall.
Technically, it's a paywall. It's a feature locked behind something you have to pay for.
Yeah,
that's quite literally a
the
paywall.
definition of the paywall.
I think the better statement here is that like who's using this if you're not playing online multiplayer, which would require the sub. Like who's actually going to use it that wouldn't have NSO?
Well, and it's free for the first how long too?
Year, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, or until March or something.
Until March of next year, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's gonna get a chance to try it and see if they want to pay to keep it. And by the way, Nintendo does have one of the cheapest online subs for now. They have not increased the price. I don't know. It's looking even like a better deal as PlayStation's raising prices again, and we know Xbox is going to raise prices again. And Nintendo probably will raise prices eventually. I'm actually surprised they didn't announce a price increase with the GameCube edition. But maybe it's just because they knew prices on everything else are going up. Let's let's keep this cheap. Let's try to get as many people on NSO as possible. Maybe they think we hit 50 million NSOs before we increase the price. I don't know. But technically, it is a paywall. That is a correct thing to say. It is a physical button that is paywalled after March of next year. But it is also one of those things that I always felt like, yeah, but the thing is about this is like its best use is for multiplayer games, which you have to pay NSO to do anyways.
Yeah.
So I understand that absolutely you could be playing completely different games and just have a normal chat like a Discord, and that's totally fine. And that arguably you wouldn't need NSO for because you could be playing single player games and stuff. But they're pushing it really hard as like, yeah, this is more for like multiplayer communications, and okay, well then you need an NSO sub. I will say, I think what's strange about it is this the first button to be on a controller that's behind a paywall officially? Like, because the button's useless after March of next year without having an NSO sub. So, is this the first controller on a console to have a button that is not usable if you are not sub to a service? That's what people are mad about. Because no, I don't think anyone's done that yet.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, then again, does it just become another programmable button then?
No, it's literally the C button. They said it's for chat.
What they could have done is they could have made the bare minimum chat feature available to all, and that's just voice chat,
That's
like
what they
the most
should have done.
basic form. And then all those other bells and whistles,
Yeah, the game
screen
sharing.
the camera, all that stuff, lock that behind NSO.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done.
Sure.
But
Good
it's
call.
not. So first off, thank you so much for the $10. But I mean, that's the thing is like it actually is a paywall. I'm not that upset about it. I want to be clear. I literally just explained, hey, who's really using this unless you're sub to NSO regardless, right? And NSO is fairly cheap, and lots of people just get on other people's family plans because most people, when they get it, they don't have 8 people to add on, so they add their friends and other stuff into it. But it's still a fair point. It's like one of the criticisms. I haven't really been like, okay, yeah, you're not being fair. No, it's fair. It is a physical button. You have to pay to access. But I also think it's a physical button no one's going to use if they don't already have it. So it's like one of those kind of ironic things, you know? But whatever. I mean, the thing is, we don't really need a physical access button for it. Like, you could just go to the home screen quick and pop and open too. That's what you have to do if you're using the Switch 1 controller. I think, you know what I think is weird? The Switch 1 Pro controllers and all that can't wake up your system from sleep. That's weird. They have that on the official website. Yeah.
The Switch 1 Pro controller can't wake up the Switch 2?
Yeah, not from sleep. Nope.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's the same button. You're hitting the same home button on both controllers.
Yeah.
For some reason on Switch 1, it won't wake it up. Third-party controllers, they'll probably release a firmware update, and it'll probably then work on Switch 2 and wake it up. Nintendo, are you just saying we're done with firmware updates to the Switch 1 controller? I don't know what's going on. That's just a really weird one. I'm gonna be using the Switch 2 one anyways because it looks like it's got better sticks, but not to 712. So what amazes me about the reaction to everything positive or negative is how you all have enough energy to get so passionate about it. I barely have enough energy to wipe my own ass sometimes.
Well, that was me yesterday. Holy balls! I did not have the energy
Eric's
at all.
way more awake tonight.
Yes, I am.
But yeah,
that's because today is my Friday. So
one, I mean, it's my job, so I have to have some energy for it, or that'd be a problem. But yeah, there are people like whether you're really positive or really negative. There's like people just whoa, the amount of energy they're throwing out online over this stuff. I'm like, whoa, now can we calm down for a moment? This is video games, right? It's not that serious. And this is my job. And I love and I'm passionate about video. Thunderstash has got a whole room full of video game stuff. He loves it, but it ain't life, right? There's more to life. It's a hobby, you know? It's not that serious that we should be like popping veins over it, you know? It feels like both ways there's some vein popping going on with some people.
So I poked the bear during Pokemon. When everybody was like, I think it was with Sword and Shield, that it might have been with Scarlet and Violet. I can't remember which, but there was a hashtag like boycott Pokemon or something, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video calling all these people out, essentially, and then I'm gonna use this hashtag, and oh my god, did I like literally like call down the fire of the internet trolls. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, that vocal minority did nothing to the sales of Pokemon. Like, it did zero.
Literally nothing.
And so that's what I'm curious about this time around with the Switch 2 and everything.
People were so loud about Dexit. You couldn't go anywhere online without it just constantly being blasted. If you said, I don't really care that much, I only care about the Pokemon in the specific games anyways, I'm going to buy it. You are part of the problem. Blah, blah. And like, it just went on to be one of the best selling Pokemon ever.
Yeah. And so like, that's what I'm so curious about is like, is this, is any of it going to move the needle? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm anticipating the Switch 2 will probably sell like half of what the Switch 1 did over its lifespan. But
we'll see. I think it's going to cross 100 mil, but there's a lot of things that have to happen.
Sure.
Along the way for that too.
Yeah.
I also think that, it was kind of funny because earlier today when we did the polls, like we said, hey, do you think they justified the price, right? So it was, or do you think $80 is fair or whatever it was? And like, it was like 55 yes, 45 no. And then I did a follow-up poll and I was like, okay, how many people are buying Mario Kart World? And it was like, it was literally like 85-15. And I'm like, okay, this reminds me of all the people that will bitch about Call of Duty, say they're going to boycott it. Then you check their Steam profile on launch day and all of them are playing Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, then you're just bitching to bitch. You're not standing on principle. So if you're not going to stand on principle, and I've always felt this way, if you're not going to stand up, if you're going to sit there and bitch and scream at people about $80 and how it's ruining, then you better stand on your principle and not cave.
I mean, I don't have Netflix just because of their stupid ass password sharing bullshit.
You want access to my Netflix, buddy?
No,
it works.
My principle.
It works. Yeah, you're not paying for it. I'm paying for it. Let me tell you, it still works.
Eric's standing on business.
They keep trying this whole password share. It still works. It just literally pings my phone and asks at me, and I say yes, and then it works. Yeah. It doesn't actually stop it.
Nice.
Anyways,
and it is like a fine line, right? Because like I said, I have people in my chat. They're like college students. They're working 2 jobs just trying to get by. And they're bummed at the fact that they're not going to be able to, like, the FOMO's kicking in. So I understand that. Like, I don't want to just group everybody together and say, oh, if you're complaining about this, you're part of the problem. Like no, I get it. I understand. But like, I think I've just been around long enough and been in the gaming scene for, 35 years, 40 years, probably. Like, it's just what happens in gaming. Like, and we don't know the flip side of stuff. Like, we know Nintendo treats their employees well. And that's always a conversation about, like, we don't want to see devs having to crunch and we want to see them getting paid and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, Nintendo's like they got the cash, right? Yeah. They could probably take a bit of a hit, but at the same time, it's all a game of business. They got investors and all that kind of stuff. Like, what happened is we saw a really scrappy Nintendo doing everything they could to get to the place that they are now. And now they're reaping the rewards of that, and they get to flex those brand muscles. And investors are like, excellent, and gamers are like, screw you, So it's just like, but then Sony kind of showed everybody like, hey, PS4 did great, and we're going to charge more for PS5, and it's still on track for a while. So
still on track for a while.
And Nintendo's got IP that Sony doesn't have. And I think it's going to end up being fine in the long run.
And they have the cadence of release with their IP that no one can match.
And third party now.
Yeah, and third party now. Like insane. A couple more super chats came in. Wait, we did that one. Sorry, let me grab this one. I think we did that one as well.
And then there's a clarification one.
Yep, I know. This one I thought was interesting because Netflix got brought up. Like the Netflix button on your TV remote, completely useless if you don't have Netflix.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not just like on the TV remote. Where is my TV remote? There it is. So there's other buttons that are kind of useless to me too. So I have Prime Video on here, Disney Plus, the LG channels, whatever that button is, and I think this is like the Smart Talk button. I don't use any of these.
No.
There's 6 buttons on my remote that's just like I never touch them.
Please tell me that you modified your Prime Video button to pull up your channel on your TV.
That'd be awesome.
Please.
Yes.
No, I didn't do that. The funny thing is, the YouTube app's one of the things I load the most, and there's no YouTube button.
Yeah, right.
Technically, there are 4 programmable buttons. I could program one of them to do that, but no. So I mean, it's kind of interesting when you put it that way. I think the difference is to watch your TV, you select what you're going to watch, and you set the remote down.
Mm-hmm.
When you play a game, it's always in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of a nice analogy to be like, well, buttons that are behind paid services that people might not use if they don't have the paid service do exist. It's just
Mhm.
not prevalent in the gaming
industry.
industry till Nintendo. But then it's like
Always innovating.
Well, then I'm like, well, like think about this. Let's say that PlayStation 6 has a button to bring up the PlayStation Plus part of the store right quick, just so you can go get the latest games that just dropped, right? Like right quick, so you don't have to go through navigation menus. You just hit that button and it brings it up. Are people going to freak out? Are people actually going to be mad? Or are they just going to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, it's Sony?
Well, it depends on if they're a Sony bootlicker or not.
Right. And principle, right?
Yeah.
Button behind a paywall.
Yeah. But what I think is a little bit interesting too is it does kind of show a bit of like Nintendo thinks this chat thing is the coolest thing since sliced bread, and all of us have been using Discord for like 10 years now, Right. So it's like I feel like maybe the casual market is gonna like maybe eat this stuff up. When you think about like Mario Party Jamboree, if you want to access everything, you have to have a camera to be able to use. So that DLC got very expensive, technically, and so like they are so stoked about this chat feature that they added a button to the controller for it. And I think just as gamers who are used to like Discord, I mean, Xbox has headphones there's not just Xbox, but you can hook up your Discord to your phone sitting in your living room and have your gameplay going at the same time and be able to chat. And that was prior to them integrating Discord. Right now it's even better. And so like,
yeah, I think, because some people say, well, why didn't they just put Discord? And I'm like, if you look at your computer and look at your phone, like what resources it uses, they had no interest in putting that on their system. It uses too much. They're doing this and all the OS stuff on 2 gigs or less. Like Discord just literally wouldn't function if they wanted to maximize games. So that's why they're not using it. Plus, they lose all control. It's with a third party. Which, by the way, I know Discord gets a lot of credit. Their account system fucking sucks. I shit you fucking not. It is the worst account system ever. Let me put it this way: say your email gets hacked and you lose access to it, you now lost your Discord account. They won't let you recover it in any way. Don't matter if you have a phone number. They will not let you recover it. You have to make a new account. I know because it happened to me. It's bullshit.
Ugh.
And imagine that account's the admin of a big Discord server. They won't even transfer it to a new account. It's bad. I like Discord. Everyone likes it because it just works. But they're not that consumer friendly with their accounts. I can have all the evidence I am who I say I am. It doesn't matter. They don't care. It's literally in their policy.
That's insane.
Yeah. So you think about like how much of a monopoly it has on that market and like how bad the customer service actually is for Discord. But it is what it is. What are you going to do about that? Nintendo did their own thing. To be fair, before we go over this one, the Nintendo's thing does a couple things Discord doesn't do. As an example, it'll grab your camera and overlay it over the game. Discord doesn't do that. That is something that is unique to it. Also, for as much flack as we give them, this is more features than all the local systems on PlayStation and Xbox. All we need is just the ability to send text messages, and we're good to go.
Well, not the Xbox One, because it had Kinect.
Get him.
Nobody bought the Xbox One. Like,
Gaddy.
Yeah, nobody bought that thing
Because of Kinect.
I had it, but you know, I don't know why. Well, I think it was Madden. I think it was the only reason that I even had the thing because they had a PC version, but like it was kind of like playing the Wii version of Madden. It just wasn't the real Madden.
Nice.
Which is weird because it's a PC. How the hell is it not the real Madden on a PC? Maybe it is today. I don't know. So this is the clarification that came from Squirtle Master. I guess I'm saying it sounds like people are saying it's its own paywall.
Right.
Like you said, it's the same sub.
Yeah,
you'll be paying for
No, I get that.
Yeah, that's the thing I was saying, that like it's kind of one of those things that you're not really going to use it unless you're an NSO member, anyways. Although technically, sure, there are use cases for it where you're not playing multiplayer games. But I think that's the general point of it. Hence why it's called game chat, is that you're going to be playing games together. But they did show uses of not playing the same games and just shooting the shit with your buddies, like Discord. So it would be neat if they just made the chat part free one day. And maybe they will. We can't say like they won't change it. They've made changes in the past to some of their services. So you never know. The one thing I'm hoping for NSO specifically is that little NSO icon that pops up. We saw some screenshots. Please let me just load the games from there. Don't open up the individual app and then load the game. No. When you see the game on the list in that NSO app, when I click on it, just take me to the game. Please.
Well, I think it's worth noting too, Nintendo has been listening more than ever this last generation. When you look at things like Super Mario Party getting online, like how many years later? Like that, I mean, that took some work that they put into it. And that was, I think the community was pushing for that, you know? So there are elements for sure of them listening. And I mean, and look at the 3DS, right? When they launched that and it was priced too high and it didn't sell, they had to come back and
people spoke with their wallets. See, this is why I keep telling everyone, stop yelling, drop the price. They're not doing it. In fact, they're considering raising the price. So speak with your wallet, stand on your principles. Like if you guys truly think Mario Kart World is not worth $80, do not buy the game under any circumstance. That's the only difference you can make. You can lobby at people like me not to buy it. I think it's worth my money, so I'm buying it. I'm not the one arguing it's not.
The only way I would say against that would be buying the $50 version with the.
But even then, you want to stand on principle. Don't buy that. Lower the sales of Mario Kart. Stand on your principles.
Yeah, there's that. But I'm sure they'll know the difference between what was bought at 80 and what was bought at 50.
And that won't. It don't matter as long as they got all the users. They ain't gonna change it. If you get out to Holiday and they have like 15 million Switch 2 sold and 13 million of them have Mario Kart, they ain't moving the price.
Yeah,
you know, like even if it's because of the bundle, they won't move the price. It's just like saying they were going to charge for Wii Sports Resort because Wii Sports was free. Like no, they're going to charge you for Wii Sports Resort.
It's the resort fee. You always get charged one.
Yeah, you always get charged that.
Here we go.
You're not even using the resort features. And it's only called the resort because they have a spa that you have to pay extra to use anyway.
Yeah, right.
So what the hell is this resort?
And then they fucking charge you for breakfast on top of it. God damn it.
Can't even get a continental breakfast. Dude, come on. Like American Inn gives me that shit. And it's like $50 to stay there a night.
I'm paying $400 a night and I can't get a goddamn freaking free breakfast.
I can't get like a piece of toast with some butter for free and a coffee. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, got an orange or banana, just something.
So, anyways, this is a great comment.
Yes, it is.
My frustration with the C button would be directly proportional to how often I accidentally press it.
This is it.
Yep.
They put it at the bottom, right? So it's below the button we're used to hitting.
Still.
So I feel like I'm not really going to accidentally hit it that often. Because that's the home button, right? The one that's right above it. Pretty sure. Because the button on the left is your capture button.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the home button. Yeah, it's gonna be like, do I accidentally hit it over the home button? I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't ever accidentally hit the home button. It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thumb's going stick the button.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't ever accidentally hit the home button. I only hit it when I want to hit it. So it'll be interesting to see if I just keep missing the home button and I just keep opening up game chat. I'm like, God fucking. Of course, then again, this isn't the
Dude,
Switch.
that's me playing the Xbox. I get so pissed because dude, why the F couldn't they just come up with their own button symbols? Like, why does it have to be ABXY, but in the opposite positions? For whatever reason, like, I don't have to think about it with Nintendo. I don't have to think about it with Sony. I cannot get it right. And like, I have a Series S I use for Game Pass. And when I remember I had a buddy over and he was just laughing. And I was getting so annoyed because it just will not click with my brain.
The problem
with
is
like
the problem is Nintendo, not Xbox. Because Sony, the B button on the Nintendo controller is the advance button, right? And A button on the Xbox controller is advance button. But Nintendo still uses A instead of B. If they just would make B the advance button for everything, we would all be golden. But I have the exact same problem. I get into my Xbox and I'm backing out instead of going forward every time.
Dude, all the time too. I cannot stand that. That's one thing about being like a multi-platform, multi-console gamer, especially when you're reviewing games. And sometimes you literally go from like Nintendo to PlayStation to Xbox consecutively. And you're just like, guys, can we just use the same freaking buttons, man? Make these universal. Stop switching the back buttons. It's killing me.
The thing is if they use different symbols, it wouldn't be an issue. I just my brain when I see A or B on another platform, I just can't.
This is how I got used to it. It's how I got used to it. A lot of games on Xbox, they started, they'll have the A, B, X, Y like on the screen or whatever, but they started color coding it. So I just pay attention to the colors.
Maybe that's what, because I mean I've put over 100 hours on the Series S, and for the life of me, anytime it tells me to press A, I press B.
Game does it, but a lot of games, if you glance, it's actually color coded. So you just memorize the A, B, X, Y on Nintendo, memorize the color positions on Xbox. Usually does a trick for most games.
I'll have to try that. Yeah, it's just I don't know when
you're gonna see the letter, and I'm like, no, look at the color around the letter.
When I see those letters, it's just ingrained in my brain since I was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe become a true Nintendo fan and get rid of that Xbox.
No, wait. You don't need it anymore because your Switch 2 is an Xbox.
Yeah.
My Switch 2 is an Xbox.
So is your phone.
Well, my Switch 1 is an Xbox too.
And your Samsung fridge.
Yeah. This is actually just a funny one because this has happened to me before. Raise your hand if you've ever actually hit the capture button instead of home. I don't know how that happens because it's on the opposite controller, but I definitely have done it. Like, what part of my brain is
I've done it a couple times.
I'm reaching with my left instead of my right. Like, I never confuse hitting the face buttons with my left hand and my right hand. So why am I confusing which side the home button's on?
Reasons.
But I've definitely done it multiple times. But I don't think I'll accidentally hit the C button just because it's so much lower on the controller. Like, I feel like you gotta really intentionally go for it. But I say that I haven't held one yet. I haven't tried to go back and forth between game and home. Ah, fuck! Game chat. But I will say this: it's not.
Don't say that in game chat because you will get get banned.
Get banned. I'll say this though: this is Switch 2, so even if I accidentally do it, it shouldn't take me 20 seconds to get back to the game.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a problem on Switch 1. It's a long wait on any accidental button press. It's a long wait. Shit! I didn't mean to open the eShop. No, I gotta hit the home button. Oh, it's lagging. No, he's gonna crash. Anyways, no, the worst is when you go to the eShop and then it wants you to log in again because you have kids and you're like, oh, I don't want to keep my login on here, and it takes like a minute to get to the login screen, and then it lags while you're typing in your login information, and then it double lags on the login. Did I hit the button? Did I not hit the button? Oh no, everything's wrong. Redo it again. Take another 2 minutes to log in.
Purchased this game twice because you didn't realize it was actually going through.
By the way, that's why they added the ability. I don't know when they did it, but that's why they added the ability to like do the thing and log in with your phone, because even though it technically is slow to do it on a phone, it's still faster to do it through the eShop. Mind blowing. Just mind blowing that you're loading the QR code up, waiting for the site to load, confirming, going back. That is somehow faster than just trying to type it in and be done. It's wild. Anyways, we don't have to worry about that anymore. We're entering a new era where the basic shit finally works correctly. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. There's no more super chats to get through. Hell of a show we put on tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Everyone who's been watching, hopefully been entertained all throughout. Record number of people banned during this show, too. I just want to shout out to Joycey J Banhammer just dropping like it's hot out there. I don't even know why people were getting mad. I don't even give a shit at this point. Because she's trying to keep peace in the community. I mean, that is the moderator's job.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around the room, let people know who we are, what we got going on. Let's start with N64 Josh, because you actually are the only guest we had all week. Because we did 2 shows this week.
Oh, well, that just warmed my heart. I'm N64 Josh everywhere. I host the Nintendo Powercast, which has been going for 8 years. And I just relaunched the Mario Kart podcast, which is called The Dirt. I race Mario Kart on stream quite often on YouTube and TikTok, and would love to get games and hang out with you guys. So make sure to connect with me on all socials.
All right. And then we got Gamebird Classic.
What is up, guys? Gamebird here, and what a great show tonight. Yeah, Mario Kart, baby, it's coming. It's looking glorious. I can't wait to put the pedal to the metal and to see all you guys in the realm as well. But yeah, you guys can check me out at Gamebird Classic here on YouTube or on Twitter at _Birdmaster. And I recently dropped a video on Banjo-Kazooie and why Switch 2 likely is the time for the Baron Bird to shine once again like a jiggy in the dark. And yeah, I got some Switch 2 videos planned coming out very soon. I'm also working on a special. I forgot to tell you guys, I'm working on a special video for the podcast. Maybe something special for the beginning of the show. Now, this one needs a little bit of time to cook. Ideas just started flowing. Okay. But if you guys like, what we've been running as an intro for now, I hope you like what's
Got a feeling my green screen's coming back.
Oh, yes, baby.
Yes, it is. Awesome.
There's going to be a lot of milk too, by the way.
I mean,
nice. You better believe it.
Does the body good, right?
That's shout out to Granny.
Right, Grandma.
Granny Gamer.
All right. The Spice Lord.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here. And on our clips channel.
Hell yeah. He's got a lot of clips to make this.
I do.
Upcoming weekend.
Which sucks because it's a freaking holiday weekend. Oh no, I have tomorrow off.
As I say, you probably have tomorrow off.
Yeah, except for family stuff tomorrow.
Well,
but
yeah, things happen.
Yeah.
Thunderstash.
So yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Thunderstash Gaming, Twitter.
Don't sound excited about it.
Thunderstash _YT. I review games. Let's see. I was just on Josh's podcast, The Dirt, and the Nintendo Powercast, right? Yep. So check that out. Go watch Josh's videos. We had a nice chat. And even though the things we discussed didn't all happen in the direct, I'm confident that they're going to happen. I'm sure you still are too on a lot of those things, Josh. In time. Outside of that, I think I can finally go play Assassin's Creed Shadows. Get ready to finish that up, wrap up that review, and move on to the next game. So
I'm also calling Thunderstash out for a game of something very soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and I'm gonna need to play that. I won't say what it is, but yeah, I'm gonna need to play it. So maybe I can do that after Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh yeah, and then actually I need to wrap that up because next is Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yeah, I know. hyped for that one.
I am. I'm going to be playing that. So
Man, that day fucking one.
those are the next 2 reviews. And then really it's just clearing the slate for Switch 2.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
it's gonna be a cream dream.
Indeed it is.
Lots of extra whip milk on top.
Will that be in the video?
Who knows?
Absolutely.
Things happen.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. I'm Nintendo Prime. You guys know what's up at this point. I'm the most hated Nintendo YouTuber on the internet. I dropped a video today that just increased that hatred of me on the internet. Is it 1,000 comments now? I don't even know. It might be at 1,000. See, Stash, this is why I can't respond to every comment. This is one video.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I know.
It's at let's see, the grand total right now is 776 comments on that bad boy right now. It'll probably be 1,000 by the time I wake up. I like to piss off the internet, apparently. It's just what we do around here. But I'm nothing if not myself, and any of my audience knows I ain't afraid to say what's on my mind. I'm gonna say what's on my mind, whether I know what's gonna make people mad or not. But I also am gonna cover the news, and that's what we do. So it's gonna be a good time. Next week's podcast, we do have I believe Deacon Sandstorm coming back on, and Andres Restart for a full episode, not just trying to sneak in for the last half hour like we seem to do lately. Just out of nowhere, hey, can I get on? Like, yeah, what, dude? I invite you every week. Just
You have an open invitation.
yeah, literally. Unless it's a full week, you have an open invitation, and he's finally coming. He's coming on. He's making something. You know why? He's tired of showing up to my lives. He's tired of showing up to the podcast late, and then he's like, "Oh my god, I have so much to talk about." Like, well, get on an episode, then, man. Anyways, so he's gonna be on next week. That's gonna be cool. The week after, we have Mr. Mike Odyssey coming on. After that, N64 Josh is back again. Guess who's back?
Sorry.
Dang.
And I know if you guys don't like him, I'm sorry. He's here twice in 4 weeks. I know it's a lot.
If you do like me, I am the new official co-host on the Nintenbyte Podcast with Mike Odyssey. That is live tomorrow night on Mike's channel. So
There you go.
There you go.
And
Nice.
then
Congrats.
and then you have
Very cool.
Storm coming back on again the week after that. So now he's coming on 2 times in 4 weeks. Look at that. We have a lot of repeats that want to come on in the next month. Oh, speaking of repeats, Mike Odyssey's on again 2 times in 4 weeks after that episode. Although he's not alone because Nintendo Land coming back, baby.
Lando.
Nice to have Lando coming back on.
He's leaving Cloud City to join the show.
He might have some beef with me because he was shitting on Mario Kart today, and I'm over here like, dude, this game looks incredible.
I know.
Might be-
I saw his tweets.
might be
He
all
had to
war.
tweet again. He's excited still.
Yeah, he's still excited, but he's mad at the same time. You know, it is what it is. It's a fine balance for some of those Nintendo people out there. For me, I'm just excited.
Yeah. There's a lot of
I'm over it.
some people are just sensitive, you know. I get it.
I know.
It's a lot easier when you're paid by Nintendo, though. Am I right?
I mean, everything's better when you're on the payroll.
Am I right?
Look, man.
Yeah, speak for yourself, CD Projekt Red.
Free games,
Yeah.
free everything, man. Get the early reviews.
Nintendo. Look, I'm tough to buy, Nintendo, but if you want to buy my dream home for me, I will say whatever the fuck you want me to say about Switch 2 heading into launch. Look, there's always a price. That's my price.
That's right. We got no morals here on Nintenbyte Podcast.
Oh, there's morals. They gotta be willing to pay a bit. I mean, my dream home's gonna look. If they're gonna let me have my dream home, it's gonna be like multiple millions of dollars. So, just saying. Yes, I have a price, but it's a lot, and I don't think Nintendo thinks I'm that valuable. Yeah, pay me more than your corporate heads. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Nintenbyte Podcast. That was this episode. Oh my god, mumbling over here. 15, episode 15. We'll catch you next week for episode 16 of season 2. And remember, season 2, we got 39 episodes or so on season 1. We're like, dude, it was really weird too. Because we're like, oh, when do we start season? I don't know. They just revealed Switch 2. Should we just start the new season now? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
We're in the Switch 2 era now. Even though almost every episode before was about Switch 2. But it was about rumors. It was about rumors. Now we have facts. We have $80 games and $90 Breath of the Wild. Go! We gotta stop. Catch you guys next week.
Good weekend.